the day grows, he becomes more worried. He tried to call Kayla's mother Hope that night, but he got no answer. The next morning, Hope saw the missed call, returns it, and she finds out that Kayla is missing. The day after, she becomes really worried because she is absolutely nowhere to be found and begins to call everyone. Kayla's brother tells her he heard she was staying with a friend, but when Hope calls this person, she says, "Nope, not here, I haven't seen him." She then speaks to Kevin, who says again he dropped her off at a friend's house, but is a bit shady on the details. She reaches out to Miguel, who is now Kayla's ex-boyfriend, and he said he hadn't seen her since 4 days before she went missing. On the 17th of August, 6 days after she was last seen, Hope files a missing persons report. The reason it was delayed was primarily due to the fact that Kayla had lied before about where she'd been, like when she was partying in the town of Nassau, and so they thought maybe she would have turned up. Although some of her friends say that even if she wasn't telling her parents what she was doing, she always kept in contact with her friends, and it had never been this long before that she had went without contact with them. The investigation begins, and the police suspect someone is withholding information. The police interview Kevin and ask him exactly where he dropped her off. He says as soon as she got out of the car, he never waited to see if she got inside the house safe. Instead, he drove off. The address? In Nassau. In fact, in the house where Miguel lived and had so many of those parties. However, Miguel hadn't lived there in over a month, and the house, it was condemned. Kayla would have known this. She had seen Miguel since he had moved from that house. Police check both the condemned building and Miguel's new home and find no signs she had been there. The police continue searching, but they find no clues as to what happened to her that night. The police go back to speak with the last person she was known to be with that night, Kevin. He, however, refuses to communicate. He says he's being harassed and hired a lawyer. They arrest Kevin, and then they get the assistance of cadaver dogs. Now, these dogs are specially trained to only look for human decomposition, nothing else. They do a test with the dogs. They get 10 vehicles, amongst them Kevin's Jeep. And when they lead the dogs around the vehicles, the animals seem only interested in one. You guessed it. However, when they do a luminol test, which essentially shows bodily fluids like blood, which you can't see with the naked eye, they find nothing in or around Kevin's Jeep. The police called in the National Guard and continued to search with dogs. The dogs find 2 pieces of interest, both, coincidentally, tied to Kevin. One was on a piece of land owned by Kevin's parents, the other where he worked. However, ultimately the police find nothing on either side. They continue searching, but nothing would ever be found. Then, bizarrely, 7 years after she disappeared in 2016, the police were notified of a video on YouTube.
Hi, Walter. I was at the mall today, and guess what happened? I met the most wonderful girl. We went shopping at JCPenney's, and she tried on a lot of clothes.
What the fuck did that
She
happen?
find a whole lot of them, you know what I mean? And then we decided to go and take a look at some of the jewelry at K Jewelers, and she picked out this most awesome necklace, the most amazing necklace I've ever seen. And I know she wanted me to buy it for her because she kept on looking at me and kept on giving me that look, look. And then we got kind of tired in the mall, and I brought her back to my place. And I know she hates cameras, Walter, but I'm gonna show you her anyway. Are you ready?
What the fuck?
The woman in the video closely resembled Kayla. A full investigation into the video was launched, and within 3 days they found the people in it. And it was fake. It was part of a series of horror shorts. And it was not a long-running series of horror shorts, if you get what I mean.
Police confirming that a disturbing video posted on YouTube years ago is not connected to the disappearance of Kayla Bird. A 15-year-old was last seen 7 years ago when she was dropped off at her boyfriend's house. Recently, a YouTube video showing a young woman tied up on a bathroom floor resurfaced. Investigators say that the video is 100% fake after talking with the person who made it.
The video, it was accidental. It wasn't meant to have anything to do with Kayla. They probably didn't even know who she was. The woman in it was an actress. However, many still want the people who made the video prosecuted.
Like a lot of people, Kayla Bird's mother was convinced that the girl in the video was her missing daughter, and she's really upset because the prank had raised her hopes so much.
Everything seemed so similar to Kayla tonight. Clothes were matching, the description, facial features, our stocking. It's just really different.
Inside Edition has confirmed that the video was made by filmmakers from upstate New York.
We gotta go! The road's gonna end!
Lucy Caldwell is the young lady who was tied up on the bathroom floor.
I want to set us alive!
And Devin Wolf played the creepy guy who calls himself Patrick in the video.
Right back to my place.
They're apologizing today for upsetting everyone. The actors involved wish to extend their sympathy to the mother of Christopher Bird. Said he apologized for anyone who was harmed.
This went viral. It caught national attention. Maybe somebody out there will finally speak up and give me the answers that we need.
I think it's pretty obvious that Kevin knows much more than he's letting on. But who knows that he's responsible, Gail was responsible, if she was just taken by a random stranger. If she was actually dropped off at the abandoned house, maybe a squatter there could have taken her, as Kevin didn't actually see her enter the house. Or maybe she was going to meet someone else, someone we don't know. Or it's extremely possible that Kevin said he dropped her there because that's where he thought her ex-boyfriend lived, and he wanted to dump it on.
What the
Miguel
fuck?
started cooperating with the police not long after the investigation. Again, he said he felt harassed, but he never hired a lawyer. Though it does seem odd that if you had nothing to do with it, you wouldn't try and help the people who were trying to find the person care for. And that's to date on the disappearance of Kayla Bird. Thank you so much for watching. I really appreciate it. If you'd like to see some more, please just buttons across. And I will see you as always real soon in the next video. Take care of yourselves. My cat.
We're good people. We love us. We've done everything we can. People say we move mountains, we do this, we do that. We've never been in our situation. We don't know it.
Hey you, and well, my name is Mike, and in this video right here, we're going to take a look into the mysterious disappearance of Dior Kunz Jr. I very briefly covered this case in a Missing 411 video I did a while back. In that video I talked about the for and against people of David Politis, and while I don't believe there's anything paranormal about people going missing in the woods, I think I ultimately came to the conclusion that he does more good than harm, and he brings attention to cases that may otherwise be forgotten. And the reason we're going to take a look at the disappearance of Dior Kunz is that there has recently been some more news. New searches have been undertaken, and as recently as the past few weeks, search teams have said they believe they may be closer to finding an answer or something. They haven't released anything yet as of this video, so let's take a look. On Friday, July 10th, 2015, 2-year-old Dior Coons Jr., his mother Jessica, his father Vernal Dior Sr., his great-grandfather Bob, and Isaac, who was a friend of Bob, traveled 120 miles from Idaho Falls to Ledo to go camping. The group was camping at Timber Creek Campground in a remote, mountainous area. Upon arrival, they set up camp. That morning, Dior Sr. and Jessica say they took Dior Jr. to a general store for supplies and snacks after cooking up a full breakfast. Following their return to camp, Jessica and Dior Sr. went looking for a place to fish, leaving Dior Jr. in the care of Bob and Isaac. Dior Sr. said they made it about 50 yards from the site before discovering some minnows he thought Dior Jr. would love to see. And upon returning to their camp, which as I said was only 50 yards away, they found that Dior Jr. had just vanished. Bob said he was last seen playing with his toy cars under a tree, about 10 minutes before Dior Sr. and Jessica came back. At 2 p.m., Jessica called 911.
What's the address of your emergency? I was actually camping in Redwood, just outside of Redwood. My 2-year-old son, he got find him. How long has he been missing? About an hour. Jessica? Yeah. Okay, what is he wearing? He was wearing a blue, shirt like Jessica, and his family jacket. Pathology. Hello? Yes, I'm not exactly sure. He's up. Are you there? Is your husband calling too? Okay. All down for counting that and we can't find the help. Okay, we need you to stay with that cell killer. Text will go on the way.
The search crew arrived quickly and the operation to find Dior Jr. began. Just over an hour after Dior vanished, the 2-mile radius around the area was quickly swarmed by officers from the county sheriff's office. Search and rescue crews used all trained vehicles to comb the landscape, while divers scoured the nearby reservoir. Searchers looked on horseback, ATVs, foot, and in water for Dior. One area of concern was a creek about 15 yards away from the campsite. That area was searched numerous times. On Sunday, July 12th, the county sheriff's office reported nearly 200 volunteers showed up to look for Dior. Volunteer search efforts were then suspended, but deputies say trained professionals continued to look for the boy. For 2 weeks, they looked in the surrounding areas, but eventually, the search was called up.
Then we thought about comfort, or did you comfort the hardest? Just your training board, or just those who represent the
We will find him. One way or another, we will find him, no matter what it takes.
We want people to know his face, and when they leave their house, we want people to know to be on the lookout for our son.
There has been no trace of Dior Jr. since then. So, what really happened to Dior Jr.? Did he wander off into the wilderness, potentially being killed by a wild animal? Or did he ever actually go on the camping trip at all?
We're trying to hold up the best we can, but we have hope is the thing. Hope is what keeps it going. Hope is, the search is not over, so we must find him. We will find him. He's not alive. No, we've all been idle. After 20 minutes up and down, we're up and around the camp. This little boy, he's a baller and over, but he was not go there for his parents.
As months passed, suspicion mounted against Jessica and Dior Sr.
When was there going around and stuff? I mean, I have heard everything from, right with next week, next week, 3 years old, it's not going to help please them. It's not helpful. This is a 2 minutes video talking about please like us.
The couple got a divorce. They were evicted from the apartment they lived in with their child, and Jessica remarried soon after. And these stories, each person who was there told, they were all conflicting. 3 people there were family members, and the fact that Bob's friend Isaac was there has never really been explained. He had never met the parents before, and it kind of seems that in interviews after that Bob didn't know him that well either.
Trust Isaac.
But for what? Maybe.
Would you trust him to steal out your house?
No.
Would you trust him to watch your grandson?
No.
Do you trust him to not steal your money?
No.
Why are you friends with him? If you don't trust him, why would you?
Well, you know what? That's a hell of a question. You're right. I had my eye on what's going on all the time. And that's the way it is.
All the family members point their finger at him, saying he must have had something to do with the disappearance.
I never really got a feel for him, like his personality. He really didn't talk to us. It was kind of, it was just odd.
Said, when you came walking up to camp, did you see my son? Did you cross paths? The response I got is beyond. Because he said, and I quote, I don't know. I looked at him, I said, when is the last time you seen my son?
However, after the police and investigators interviewed every person multiple times, Isaac was the only person who never ever changed his story about what happened that day.
Well, a lot of people thought that you were involved.
Yeah, that I am aware of.
What would you say to those people that put in the summer outside of you with this disappearance?
I'd say just, a lot of people don't say don't know me, so,
How the hell is it not letting me fucking target that guy?
I just have to say,
The fuck is really going on?
I shouldn't judge them just because of how they look.
What do you remember what happened?
I don't want to comment on that.
Do you remember the last time you saw Little Beaver?
No comment.
But he was out there.
Yes, that,
He was out there. You saw him. You know he was there.
yeah.
After Dior's disappearance, the family hired Philip Klein of Texas-based Klein Investigations and Consulting after raising $20,000 in a GoFundMe campaign. And they probably wish they didn't hire him, because get this, after the parents were evicted from their apartment for not paying rent, the private investigator, Philip Klein, searched leftover furniture and clothing in the apartment complex. During the search, they found 4 matchbox cars that were previously described by the parents as missing, and they did not know where they were, as well as a camo jacket that the boy's parents say he was wearing on the day he went missing.
And his camel jacket.
The jacket he was supposedly wearing when he vanished was in their apartment the entire time. Police then confirmed they were dealing with a possible homicide. No arrests have ever been made, but Jessica and Dior Sr. are the main suspects. Now, Philip Klein wasn't the first private investigator to help on this case. They had previously worked with Frank Vilt, another private investigator and friend of the family. However, early in the investigation, he quit the case.
I withdrawing from the investigation. A stipulation was both of you would be absolutely truthful. In my professional opinion, both of you lied if this represented the two facts that could possibly solve the mystery of your missing son. Sooner or later, truth will come out. When a mother was born to a child, she looks into the camera and says, I want my child. Please help me find my child. I love my child. But she didn't want to be there.
Evidence continued to build against the parents, as there was no evidence their son was ever at the site. Philip Klein was fired shortly after by the immediate family, but rehired by an unnamed family member and continued his investigation. In 2017, he withdrew from the case, feeling his investigation could no longer continue, as the family were being uncooperative and less than truthful about the disappearance of their child.
Bottom line is you've interviewed everyone, you've looked at all the evidence, you've done an investigation. What do you think happened here?
What I think happened was, I think we have the child that possibly, and I want to say that word possibly, because we don't have anybody that can say has seen that child from the night before. We have two family members that have both lied on not only their polygraph test, but on their witness statements.
We're talking about mom and dad.
We believe what is happening, yes, mom and dad have both told us. Now we're up to 6 stories on dad and 4 stories on mom. So basically what we have is we have two parents that say they brought their child up to this mountain on a camping trip when we don't have any evidence that child made it up there on that camping trip. But let's go with what they do say. And if they do say they did bring them up there, then we do know something happened up on that mountain. Basically for two reasons. We have one evidence that was taken by the FBI on the wheelbase of a truck and also the bumper of a truck. Number one. And number two, we also have the consistent statement, and I think it's interesting to try to vilify actually Renoir based upon a supposed mental history. Mr. Renoir has been the only one that has kept his story straight.
According to the sheriff, there were no credible witnesses to say they had definitely seen Dior at the campground. And so it's possible he was never there at all. The parents went to the store that morning with Dior to get some supplies. However, the police and investigators failed to find any credible sightings outside of the family, including store CCTV and witness testimony, that Dior was ever there. However, Bob and Isaac both continue to say he was
splitting up a lot around the corner from 657 Boulevard. One that required a larger exception than the Broaddus family requested.
This is just a bad meeting. Or do you think, perhaps, is it a hot fuzz situation where everyone in the neighborhood is in on it? Yeah, we don't want this new family here.
That Christmas, some families who had vocally protested the Broaddus' plan received threatening hand-delivered letters signed Friends of the Broaddus family. More on these later. In spring of 2016, just short of 2 years after the first letter arrived, the Broaddus family found someone to rent the home. The family had 2 large dogs, fully grown children, and a clause in the lease that let them out if there was another letter. Within 2 weeks, another letter arrived. Quote, to the vile and spiteful Derek and his wench of a wife.
That's retarded.
Oh boy. Before this, he's been very respectful, despite saying, like, yeah, I'm going to steal your blood children. Yeah, he was really holding back before. Wench, too. He's still stuck with the old English. No steaming.
657 Boulevard survived your attempted assault and stood strong with its army of supporters barricading its gates. My soldiers of the boulevard followed my orders to a T. They carried out their mission and saved the soul of 657 Boulevard with my orders. All hail the Watcher. End quote.
All hail the Watcher! All me and my minions, we all did it. Done it again. Like my father. In his father behind.
Yeah, one thing I've always said, I've always gone on record saying all hell.
That's true, he has said that. He says it every day when he walks into the office.
I walk into BuzzFeed, morning, all hell the Watcher!
All hail the Watcher, we do the same thing. It's like,
All hail the Watcher.
hail the Watcher.
I've got my big stomach tattoo.
That's true. There was HR.
The letter continued, quote, maybe a car accident, maybe a fire, maybe something as simple as a mild illness that never seems to go away, but makes you feel sick day after day after day after day after day. Maybe the mysterious death of a pet, loved ones suddenly die, planes and cars and bicycles crash, phones break, who are despised by the house and the Watcher want, end quote.
He's just really just shooting them out there. He's casting a wide net and hoping one of them sticks. So that he can be like, if one of those things happens, he's going to be like, oh man, Watcher baby, orchestrated by the Watcher.
They're like walking down the street, they kind of trip on the sidewalk, he's like, Run out of cooking oil? Watch her.
Oh, speaker bike? No, I have no water. Oh, you just took a little poopy and you don't have any more toilet paper? Watch her. Sorry.
Despite the letter, the renters agreed to stay after more cameras were installed around the house. Now up to current day, it's time to look at suspects for who the watcher could be. Our first suspect is a man I'm calling the Gamer. Around 11 p.m. one night, while two detectives from Westfield Police were surveilling 657 Boulevard, a car suspiciously stopped outside the house. The car was traced to a young woman from a town close by. The home of her boyfriend was on the same block as 657 Boulevard. The woman told investigators that her boyfriend was into, quote, some really dark video games, end quote, including possibly one where he played as a character called the Watcher, according to an investigator's memory. The Gamer agreed to be questioned by police, but he never showed up for his interviews. Detectives didn't have enough evidence to force him to come, so he was never questioned.
They said he played as a character called the Watcher, according to the investigator's memory. So maybe he didn't say what he said Witcher, which is a game.
Knowing how people who don't know about video games react to video games, I'm guessing this is...
Yeah, and if people judged you, for instance, off of how you play video games, I'm sure they'd have you behind bars content.
I don't know what you're implying here.
We didn't murder
Characters. Everybody murders people.
They're characters based off real people. Our coworkers.
Stephen.
Stephen and the Try Guys, we murdered them.
The second suspect is another neighbor, Michael Langford. Derek began to suspect Langford after attending a neighborhood barbecue shortly after receiving the first letter. Langford lived in the house next door, which belonged to his 90-year-old mother. Several of her adult children, all in their 60s, lived with her, and the family was seen as strange but harmless. The Langfords had lived in the house since the 60s, which was when the Watcher claimed his father watched the house. Michael's father had died about 12 years before the first letter arrived, which could have been why the Watcher claimed to have done the job of watching for, quote, the better part of 2 decades, end quote. Langford was also known to spook new neighbors with his odd behavior, like walking through their yards and peeking through windows. Due to the positioning of the houses, Langford would have had a perfect view of the easel they had set on the porch for their daughter that the second letter referenced.
You're telling me he has a habit of walking, invading people's privacy and watching.
Yeah, I guess it's pretty easy to see why they suspected him of being the Watcher.
If I moved in and I was like, oh, this place is great, and I just turned my window and saw him.
Well, you know me. My greatest fear is looking at a window and then just seeing a face there with 2 eyes.
Not even a smile, just a...
I actually think the smile's worse. I used to have a recurring nightmare when I was a kid of an evil version of my dad looking through my window. It stemmed from when I watched Inspector Gadget as a kid. Remember there was the evil Inspector Gadget?
He had big giant teeth?
Big giant shiny teeth. And he had big eyes. So he would just stand outside my window.
And your father is a dentist, so
And my
big
father-
scary teeth are even...
That's true. And we all know that he may have cut someone's head off.
Hey, I didn't say it. I did
That's
not
true.
make
It's
that
just
claim.
that's canon, I guess, at this point.
Police questioned Michael Langford after the first letter, but he denied knowing evidence interview was before the second letter. Some believed been especially recommending letters. Those who knew him largely been turning to a desperate. Some named why the Broaddus family kept renovating the house after they decided they wouldn't move in. When major movie studios began courting the family for the rights to their story, a big media deal could have been more motivation for concocting the Watcher. What's more, I mentioned that some local families received anonymous threatening letters after the Planning Commission rejected the Broaddus' proposal to split the lot. Those letters turned out to be written by Derek.
Look, this guy's nicer than me. I think if people denied my proposal and I saw that they were speaking out about it, I'm confronting them with argument. I'm not doing it through kind of thing.
Friends of Ryan Bergara.
Oh, the friends of Ryan Bergara are right here and right here. And they're going to be going face to face in that parking lot.
He'll get you.
You don't need a case for that.
Yeah, he'll get you.
Don't bring the investigator. Bring the ambulance.
Hey, you know, I love it.
Yeah,
That's
right.
scary.
Yeah.
Derek claims those letters were the only anonymous letters he's ever sent and were the result of years of frustration at his family's plight and the neighborhood's seeming ambivalence. As well, the psychological trauma from the letters alone makes the Broaddus family being the watcher seem thin, casting more doubt on the theory that the Broaddus family is the watcher. A later investigation found that another family on the boulevard had also received a note from the watcher around the time the Broadduses received their first. Just like the previous owners, the Woods family, that family had lived in the house for years without a problem and threw the letter away. But if the Broaddus family was trying to get out of their home or make a movie deal, why send a letter to another house as well?
Seems a bit preposterous that someone would make up a mystery about themselves and hope to sell movies.
Pretty far-fetched.
Yeah.
How do you explain that to your kids? The psychological trauma you're going through. Yeah! You know, it'd be a really fun role-playing exercise to bring us together as a family. What if we pretended, picture this, that a man was going to murder you in their sleep? Thoughts? Unless, of course, the children are in on it, and they're like in a writer's room. Like, they're like walking around like a whiteboard.
The kids are pitching.
They're
putting little index cards up.
They're like in their ripping, snapping around. Like, maybe.
And we've got him, like, threatening the house. What if he goes after us? Yeah, the kids.
And yeah, I was like, write it.
Write it down. Types up. His father was a watcher. So this is
legacy. It's a legacy stuff.
I know I'm into this.
I love it. Bring it.
What makes the case of the Watcher so fascinating is the limited number of potential suspects, coupled with the complete lack of evidence that has stymied investigators' ability to make progress. This case is very recent, so there's a chance we haven't heard the last from the Watcher. Perhaps some future note will provide the key clue to identifying the person responsible. But until then, the case remains unsolved.
Overall, a very frustrating case. This dude could be anybody. He caused no physical harm, but he caused a lot of mental harm, financial harm. People get away with things all the time in the past because the forensic technology wasn't there. This is 2 years ago. This is a little bit scary.
But at the same time, we do live in a bit of a surveillance state. You go to this photo they got 10 different cameras. I'm saying maybe the way the world has prevented him from really
doing something,
doing worse.
So he could just write it out, but he can't act it out.
That's right. Who watches the watch?
This week on BuzzFeed Unsolved, we go down under to examine the wacky shark arm case that captivated Australia in 1935.
Did you say wacky?
I mean, just it's pretty wacky. Well, inherently, any case that's titled the shark arm case, there's going to be some fun to be had down the road.
Yeah, because I'm no marine biologist, but sharks don't have arms.
They have fins.
Yeah.
An astute observation.
Yeah.
So why is the arm in the title?
Curious.
Why don't we dive deep into it? Okay.
In early 1935, business at Sydney, Australia's Coogee Aquarium and Swimming Baths was floundering. The world was in the depths of the Great Depression, and aquarium owner Bert Hobson needed something to lure customers and keep his business afloat.
There's already two sea-based puns in
What are you talking about? I don't know what you're talking about.
Is this going to be a review?
I swear it's the last one.
Okay.
His spirits were buoyed when on April 18th, Bert and his son Ron caught a 14-foot, one-ton tiger shark off the coast and put it in their pool. There had been an increasing wave of shark attacks, and this monstrous shark was just the attraction Hobson thought needed to turn the tide on his slumping enterprise. About a week after catching the shark, and in front of crowds of families enjoying the aquarium during a holiday weekend, the behemoth suddenly began convulsing and vomiting, spitting up a rat, a bird, and finally, a human arm.
It's a Great Depression.
Yeah.
You scrap together what little you have. You
Yeah.
take the family to the water parks for the holiday.
Let's form some great memories of the family.
And then a shark just starts vomiting rats in front of your children.
I don't think I've ever seen a shark vomit.
Yeah.
Imagine like a shark like slumped over like a toilet. It's a very funny image. Obviously, they're just in the pool. I also want to know if they like the velocity of the arm coming out. Did it shoot out into the crowd? Did it hit somebody in the face? Or was it just like a
Or just like, like when your heater comes out.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. His little arm came out.
Yeah. Hobson called the police, who fished the arm out of the pool and found a large tattoo of two boxers fighting inside the forearm. The shark was killed and its stomach was searched for additional remains, but none were found.
Boy, the last thing I would want after vomiting is to be killed.
Yeah, I mean, really just a bad week for that shark. and the shark's just got it. Like, his last thought had to have been like, why?
Using new fingerprinting technology, the police were able to identify the arm's original operator as 45-year-old Jimmy Smith. A local paper, Truth, described Smith as, quote, a well-known suburban billiard saloon keeper, one-time promising lightweight boxer, and a man with seemingly not an enemy in the world, end quote.
Seemingly is the operative word there.
Yeah, I think so.
You don't get your arms cut off and fed to a shark if you're simpatico with all your pals.
Yeah, I can't say there's a lot of good relationships in your life. Even this is something that's happening to you.
In the early 1930s, Smith began working as a builder for one Reginald Holmes, a well-respected member of the community on the surface, but who hid undercurrents of criminal activity. In addition to operating a successful boat-building business, Holmes conducted insurance scams and organized drug deals, using his speedboats to collect drugs from ships. After the first building job, Smith plunged into more work for Holmes and became netted in his various illicit schemes. On Holmes's orders, Smith would scam builders out of their supplies, operate Holmes's speedboats, and was the caretaker of a pleasure boat called the Pathfinder. More on that later.
I love this guy.
Which guy?
Holmes.
Why?
It's 1935. He's got a fleet of.
Okay, I do think a
speedboats.
fleet of speedboats is something that a Bond villain would have, and I kind of appreciate that this guy is taking it to heart. That's kind of cool.
I'm sure by that era's standards, a speedboat is a boat that goes 11 miles an hour.
Yeah, probably not that fast, but we're not napping, like relegated.
Yeah, and in my brain, I'm imagining Miami Vice, but with just more burlap.
For the time, it was a bitchin' boat.
A bit devilish of you to drop return pleasure boat and say, well, we'll get back to that.
Yeah, that's a tricky win. Okay.
Because the mind reels.
How your mind to settle down?
You can't. Oh, there's no settling this one down now. Pleasure boat, my word.
Smith and Holmes also worked with an old chum of Smith's, Patrick Brady. Brady began his life of crime in World War I when he realized that he was good at forging the signatures of military generals. The three men began forging checks for small amounts of money from local clients of Holmes. Eventually, Holmes and Smith had a disagreement over one of the check forgery scams, and it's reported that Smith began blackmailing Holmes.
Hey, I love this whole crew. I love that these men become friends over the fact that he's like, hey, you know what? You're really good at forging signatures. Well, thank you. It's something I've been practicing for a while.
Oh, you're fleet of speedboats. These guys are scammers.
Yeah, but how do you just crack that ice? How do you break the ice there?
Oh, because it's not
You just like out there coffee one day and you're like, it's gonna sound a little wild, but you ever think about murdering a person? Yeah.
You feel about scams.
Yeah, so, I mean, any sort of illicit thing.
Because there's no LinkedIn for criminals, where they could read the resumes of other criminals and then hire them. So, like, how do they find each other? I suppose, like, if you're like, yeah, LinkedIn for criminals, should write that down. We'll write that down under our schemes.
See rules of the
Fast forward to April 7th, 11 days before Bert Hobson caught his tiger shark. Jimmy Smith and Patrick Brady were out drinking and playing cards at the Cecil Hotel. Afterwards, the two went to a small cottage that Brady had in the beach community of Granola. It's widely thought that this was where Smith met his fate. A cab driver reported driving a disheveled Brady from the cottage to Holmes's house later that night. The driver would later testify, quote, it was clear that he was frightened, end quote, and that Brady was obviously hiding something in his jacket.
You know, I can't think of many other things that would be as awkward to hide under a jacket than a full-grown arm.
Well, no, what you would do is you would tuck one of your arms behind and just...
and then put the arm in the sleeve itself?
Yeah.
What if he's like, nice to meet you, man? And it's like the wrong hand. Like if it's...
Yeah, how are you?
Smith's wife, who Smith had told he was going fishing, grew nervous when he didn't return after a few nights. One night, a man called her and said, quote, "Don't worry, Jimmy will be home in 3 days' time," end quote. Of course, Jimmy Smith never returned. Days later, the shark at the Koji Aquarium vomited his arm. On May 17th, Brady was arrested on forgery charges, which were merely a way to keep him in custody. Authorities interrogated him for 6 hours, but he refused to admit anything. It was only after the police questioned his wife that Brady agreed to make a statement. Brady implicated Holmes in Smith's murder, and when police questioned Holmes, he claimed to not know Brady. A few days later, Holmes took a speedboat out in Sydney Harbor, along with a bottle of alcohol and a pistol. The facts of the following trip are described in various ways, but with a grain of salt, the gist of it goes like this. Holmes got drunk on the boat and shot himself in the head with the pistol. Another man who was out boating with his children reported almost being hit by the erratically moving boat. When talking to police, the man said, quote, "You won't mistake him. He has a bullet hole in his forehead," end quote. For you see, Holmes survived the gunshot, which knocked him into the water. Now, with a gunshot wound in his head, Holmes climbed back into his boat and tried to drive back to Sydney Harbor. Police boats chased him for 4 hours until they eventually caught him. Holmes reportedly told police that he had been shot by strangers and was trying to escape. He apparently claimed he thought the police in pursuit were the people who shot him, which is why he didn't stop. It's hard to know what Holmes was really thinking because, again, he had a bullet hole in his head.
This guy apparently felt well enough to go on a 4-hour boat chase.
Yeah, I mean, he seemed to be doing fine. Like, I would think maybe it would really mess you up and, like, you'd live, but, you know, you're clinging to life. But this guy is like...
Yeah, this guy's looking back. The wind's whizzing through the hole in his
wiping
forehead.
blood out of his old...
It's crazy.
Holmes allegedly said to police, quote, "Jimmy Smith is dead and there is only another left. If you leave me until tonight, I will finish it," end quote. Holmes claimed that, instead of Brady's story accusing him of being the organizer of the plan to kill Smith, he had actually been extorted by Brady. Brady had surfaced at Holmes's house with Smith's severed arm and attempted to blackmail him, claiming he'd pinned the murder on Holmes's instructions. Holmes said that Brady had murdered Smith, cut his body up, put the pieces in a trunk, and threw the trunk into Gunnamatta Bay. In the 20s and 30s, this act was apparently so common that it had a name, the Sydney Send-Off.
Good luck, man. I don't know if doing that shit before.
Holmes told police he paid Brady the blackmail, who in turn left the severed arm in Holmes's living room. Holmes claimed he then panicked and threw the arm into the ocean, where it was presumably eaten by the shark that was eventually caught and placed in the aquarium. Police said they would charge Holmes with being an accessory to the murder unless he agreed to testify against Brady at the inquest into Smith's murder, set for June 12. Holmes agreed, and on the morning of June 12, Holmes was discovered in his car with 3 bullets in his chest, this time dead.
One thing to gather from this, too, is Brady definitely was the one who had the arm.
Okay.
However you want to talk your way around that one, that seems to be the fact.
Whether he was doing it for someone else.
Whether he was doing it on the orders of Holmes or he was doing it to then say, "I'm going to blackmail Holmes," is the question, I suppose.
Brady's trial still went on, but without Holmes to serve as witness, the case fell apart. Brady's lawyer argued that according to a British statute from 1276, a body was necessary to conduct an inquest, and a limb could not be considered a body. The defense also argued that sharks typically digest food within 24 hours. Yet, in order for the prosecution's timeline to be correct, the arm would have had to have been in the shark anywhere from 8 to 17 days. The defense also claimed it was possible someone had thrown the arm into the pool where the shark was kept at Koji Aquarium, and that it was never in the shark at all. The prosecution came back with ichthyologists, fish scientists, who said the arm could have upset the shark's digestion and impeded its function. They also brought forward 14 witnesses who said they watched the shark vomit up the arm.
Did you guys see the shark vomit up the arm?
Yes.
After a day and a half, Brady was acquitted and released. A Sydney newspaper reported, quote, "Of course you are innocent, Mr. Brady, but please don't do it again, Mr. Brady," end quote.
Now, I've noticed your Australian character. Why is he tied up like this? What's that?
It's a choice I've made.
Quieter and quieter, so I can't even understand what you're saying.
With that, it's time to look into some theories about what actually happened to Jimmy Smith. The first theory is that Holmes' story to police was correct, and that Brady murdered Smith and tried to extort Holmes. This is bolstered by the idea that Brady could have contracted Holmes' murder so he couldn't testify. However, at Brady's trial, defense attorneys pointed out that Brady was only 5'4", making it unlikely he could have killed Smith alone. Of course, his small stature wouldn't have prevented Brady from using a gun, but because no body was ever found, it's impossible to know how Jimmy was actually killed.
Well, what do you think about that? Because Holmes said he was going to testify against Brady, saying that Brady had done the whole thing. And then the day of the trial, he gets killed. So, that obviously does not look good for Brady.
No.
So I don't think it's, like, good to gloss over that fact. That's a major hurdle I feel like you need to kind of confront.
It's a very gutsy. Very gutsy.
I mean, he still got off because of the arm wasn't attached to a body.
Yeah, no, I know that, but very gutsy to make a move like that when obviously tends to point back at you.
Which brings us to a second theory. No one killed Jimmy Smith. Because no body was found, we cannot definitively say Smith was murdered. It's possible he didn't want to bow to the pressure of Holmes' criminal activities and wanted out, but didn't think he could do so safely. So, he faked his own death. Admittedly, this theory seems unlikely, as Smith could have probably gotten away with just a severed hand instead of an entire arm.
Do you think he would be capable of cutting off his own arm?
I mean, he obviously would have had help.
Yeah, he would
probably from his wife. Because if he's faking his own death, it's obviously they're in cahoots. They're going to live a life somewhere together. So he probably had her, do the little tourniquet.
Very sweet to be in cahoots with your wife.
I mean, that's kind of part of the bargain.
Yeah, I guess. You don't hear that come up in vows very often.
In sickness and in health.
Sickness and cahoots.
I would say that sickness includes missing an arm or having it coming off.
Yeah, very sweet. Okay.
A third theory, suggested by Australian legal historian Alex Castles, states that Smith was indeed killed at Brady's cottage, but that Brady was not involved. Some years after the case, Brady's wife said she had gone to the cottage, thinking she would catch her husband with another woman. Instead, she overheard a group of men playing cards and drinking. Castles believes Brady was out fishing and came back to find Jimmy already murdered. According to this theory, Brady never said anything about his former friend's murder out of fear of retribution. Our final theory, the only one that I can see has a clear motivation, is that Holmes orchestrated Smith's murder. Remember how Smith was the caretaker of a yacht that Holmes owned, the Pathfinder?
I forgot about the pleasure boat! Go back to the pleasure boat!
Yeah.
Oh, that was good. It's actually good that you set that up. And then I got so wrapped up in this crazy story that I forgot about this wonderful pleasure boat.
And now I'm reminded why I'm glad you forgot, because you were way too excited about it.
Excited to hear about the pleasure boat.
It turns out Holmes and his associates had purchased, insured, and destroyed the boat as part of an insurance scam. Holmes, however, never received his insurance money, as Smith had reportedly become a police informant, telling authorities that the yacht's destruction was suspicious. This, coupled with Smith's reported blackmailing of Holmes over their check forging scams, could have led Holmes to arrange with Brady to have Smith killed. Once Brady murdered Smith, he brought the arm to Holmes as proof. Holmes would have disposed of the arm in the ocean, where a particularly unlucky shark happened upon it. In this theory, Holmes actually did get away with one last insurance scam. Police suspected that Holmes had contracted hitmen to kill himself after buying a generous life insurance policy. His wife and children would get the money and not have to endure the sinking embarrassment of his various crimes surfacing. Holmes's wife reportedly knew what happened to Smith and was about to share this information when she died mysteriously in a fire in 1952. It should be noted that Brady didn't die until 1965.
Do you think he got nervous when he read in the paper that a shark had vomited out on him?
Yeah, like his wife came to him. Look at this hilarious headline. He's like, a shark is vomiting.
I gotta make some calls.
Wow, that's real funny.
Sweat just dripping down his face. When Bert Hobson and his son fished a tiger shark out of the ocean, they were trying to lure attention to their floundering aquarium. What they actually hoped was a mystery that would draw
Why are
the
these
attention
goddamn
of the
guns shooting?
and end a local criminal's life. As for how Jimmy Smith's tattooed arm finally found its way into the shark, that remains unsolved. One thing to mind from all of this, sort of fish from, is that if it wasn't for that pesky little shark, how much would have got away with it?
Friends murder each other all the time. You know, it happens. That's the way it is.
I gotta make some calls. Okay. You still doing it? Hey.
This week on BuzzFeed Unsolved, we discussed the Reiki victim methods, an Icelandic case in which 6 people confessed to murders that police have no physical evidence ever occurred.
So goddamn time I'm trying to shoot something and it won't do nothing. Fucking asshole.
It certainly is one of the many arrows in your end-quote quiver. Well, I'm excited to tell you that perhaps the place that you deem heaven maybe isn't so bad. So, great stuff. Let's get into it.
On January 26, 1974, with Munir Anderson, a quiet 18-year-old laborer, went out drinking with some friends. They ended up in a dance hall in Havenarfjörður, a town just south of Reykjavik. Munir left the party in the early hours of the day and decided to walk home. Around 2 a.m., 2 of his friends saw Munir on the road, trying to hitch a ride with another man they did not recognize. Both men were clearly drunk, and Munir swayed as he stumbled his way through the snow. With Munir never made it home. At the time, the entire country of Iceland's population was about 220,000 people. For context, that's 5,000 fewer people than lived in Reno, Nevada in 2010. Major crimes were very, very uncommon. They didn't even have government bodies tasked with finding missing people. After a few weeks of searching and coming up empty, the volunteer search parties ended their hunt.
Yeah, no, like, right, they're not used to it. Still. There's something about this. But one morning, we woke up to go on a beautiful kayak. The woman who drove us to the kayak thing, we were talking about just the way things go there. And she said, you know, we don't have a lot of time. About once a year we will do a murder. And she made And I was like, okay, I know you don't, you're not implying that the whole country gets together and picks one person like the lottery and decides to sacrifice them.
So, was that the verbiage she used?
She said we will do a murder.
Do a murder.
Around 10 months after Munir Anderson disappeared on November 19, 1974, a quiet construction worker, Munir Anderson, with no relation to Munir, was watching TV with a friend at his home in Keflavik. The pair briefly left to go to the Harbor Cafe, but Geirfinnur shortly returned. Back at home, he received a phone call. His wife Gufni said Geirfinnur told the man on the other end of the call, quote, "I've already come," end quote, followed by, quote, "I'll come," end quote. Geirfinnur then drove his car into town, parked close to a cafe, left his keys in the ignition, exited his vehicle, and was not seen.
Two guys disappeared within the same time. Yeah, same last name. No,
In a place where this is happening.
yes. Yeah. Maybe it's time to round up. In the task force.
Another missing person meant another search party of volunteers, who found no trace of Geirfinnur. This being the second disappearance within the year, detectives decided it might be time to do a bit more sleuthing. The first step for police was to find out who called Geirfinnur. 2 teenagers and a cafe employee described a man they had seen place a call from a phone booth outside the cafe. From these descriptions, police made a clay recreation of a man's face and began showing it around. Keflavik is a small town, so when no one could identify the man depicted in the police's model, they assumed the
manager of a nightclub in nearby Reykjavik, was questioned but released. By the following summer, detectives had no witnesses and, crucially, no bodies. What they did have were rumors swirling around on Savar Ziselski.
So this is the possible suspect.
This is the possible suspect based on description. So instead of doing like a police sketch, they did it.
Yeah, that's it.
We got to limit the exactly.
Savar Ziselski was a local petty criminal with a penchant for stealing things like alcohol, candles, and checkbooks. He sold drugs and would tell his girlfriend, Erla Bogladottir, about his desire to commit the, quote, perfect crime, end quote. Together, the two would forge checks, using Erla's job as a telex operator for Iceland's post and telecommunication company. Shortly after Geirfinnur went missing, Erla and Savar got one-way tickets to Copenhagen with money they'd embezzled from Erla's job.
So these are like body and parts.
Oh, that show. Now they bring this up. If you do the cooking,
In Denmark, Erla soon became pregnant, and the couple moved back to Reykjavik to have their baby in September 1975. In order to support his new family, Savar's plan was to smuggle cannabis into Iceland. Perhaps consequently, Erla decided the two should live apart.
I'm gonna go on for this. With some nice with some of that good. Gonna turn Iceland into Greenland.
While police were still stymied by the previous year's two disappearances, they had been making progress on a case of some stolen money at the Post and Telecommunication Company. On December 12, 1975, Savar was arrested on suspicion of embezzlement. 2 days later, Erla was also taken into custody. Erla initially denied everything. Authorities questioned her and detained her in solitary confinement. After 7 days of grueling questioning, she confessed to the Post and Telecommunication fraud. As she was preparing to be released, investigators showed Erla a photo of Gudmundur Peterson, the first man to go missing, who she recognized originally. They had once shared a car together and had, on another occasion, run into one another at a party. Erla told investigators that she vaguely remembered the night Gudmundur disappeared. She had been at a nightclub without Savar, who she thought was in Denmark at the time. When she got home, she immediately fell asleep, though she recalled a nightmare in which she could hear Savar's voice whispering outside her window. Sensing the faintest hint of a lead, police asked her if it was possible she hadn't been dreaming. So, instead of releasing her, they then threw Erla back in solitary confinement.
She admits to the embezzlement.
Yep.
And then they throw a Hail Mary. They say, here's the picture of the window.
Yeah. Hey, you do crimes.
You know this guy? Yeah. She remembers. She has a nightmare that Savar, who is unaccounted for, is whispering outside her window. The police then say,
Yeah.
they then throw her back into solitary confinement.
Two birds, one stone. That is what it's a little something.
Alone, Erla began to doubt her memories. She thought, quote, is it possible they killed someone in the apartment and I saw the whole thing and I can't remember, end quote. Erla was questioned for 6 hours on December 20th, naming Savar and their friend Kristján Bitter as possible suspects in Gudmundur's disappearance. She also mentioned being perplexed to come home on January 27, 1974, the day after Gudmundur disappeared, to find her bedsheet missing. Investigators drew up a confession that said she saw Savar and 3 others carry the body of Gudmundur while wrapped in the missing bedsheet. Erla signed it after being kept in solitary confinement for days and being threatened to be kept there indefinitely, all while she had an 11-week-old baby at home. Erla herself was only 20 years old.
Like, you put me in a room for police work, I'm starting to always question the sense of humanity. I need to do.
The next day, Savar, who had been in solitary confinement this whole time, was questioned for 10 hours, then 6 hours the day after. Once investigators finally showed him Erla's confession, Savar told investigators he was involved, along with a friend, Kristján, who Savar had seen that Erla had already named, Trygvi Runar, and Albert Kahn.
So he's in solitary, he's learning what the hell is going on. They're drilling him for 16 hours, and then they show that his significant other has been signed confession and he was working through it. I think that's the last straw.
that if he's thinking, well, at the rest of this, maybe we'll just get me outside for a week. But if I implicate some other people, maybe that'll turn around. Exactly.
The police had developed an unfortunate habit of throwing their suspects in solitary confinement anytime they needed to solicit a confession in this criminal case. They arrested the 3 men and threw them into solitary. Eventually, the men all confessed to playing roles in Munir's murder. Now that they had extracted confessions for one disappearance, the investigators wondered, was it possible that they could solve the second one too?
Pretty much everyone is so kind, so polite. I just imagine the most polite people in the world doing it. And they're like, well, we figured out that if you put them in a room, you know, they're kind of going to throw them out there. So, I guess maybe we're doing that.
I would like to not think that's the case. I would like to think that maybe the community is pressure. Like, this guy's running rampant. They killed 2 people. That's twice the outcome for the last 20 years. We gotta do something. And this meeting, they're doing result-based investigation. They're getting the signature. They did their job. That's how they're looking at it. Which, like I said, some people.
Police went back to Erkla and asked if it was possible the men they got confessions out for Munir's disappearance could have also been involved in Geirfinnur's as well. Erkla replied, quote, maybe, end quote. The police told her, quote, we have a reason to believe that you have experienced something traumatic concerning Geirfinnur's disappearance, and we are going to help you remember, end quote.
They were like, you think this can maybe be connected to this other disappearance? And she said, maybe. And they're like, oh yeah, fire up that video.
Fire up.
It's ridiculous. Not great. This is the second time they have taken her out. She has signed something and thought, oh great, go. And then they said, and you go. You just got to think about what that would do to your brain. Her brain is pale.
The police began to question Erkla, Saibhar, and Christian about Geirfinnur's disappearance, and sure enough, received confessions from all of them. Their stories, however, kept changing. At one point, the murder happened on the boat, but the final confession presented in court said the men had killed him on land. Eventually, Christian mentioned a foreign-looking man who helped them murder Geirfinnur. That foreign-looking man was eventually identified as Gudjon Starkettensen, a former teacher of Saibhar's.
If you have a good teacher, they say like, I know, blah, 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 how much you appreciate it. Yeah, it'd be weird to be like, hey, you did a great, I really like the multiplication tables we did. You want to kill a guy? You did a really good job molding my mind. You did such a good job. I'd like you to come in and get school. I'd like to make a man disappear.
Gudjon was arrested on November 12, 1976, though he initially claimed he could not remember the night in question, which at this point was almost 2 years ago. 17 days of solitary confinement managed to jog his memory, and he confessed. By December 1976, Erkla, Saibhar, Christian, Gudjon, Trygve, and Albert had confessed to involvement in the murders. Despite the fact that all suspects demonstrated foggy memory of the events, the fact that Erkla, Saibhar, and Christian all tried to retract their confessions, which they were rejected, and the fact that no murdered bodies had been discovered, in December 1977, they were all found guilty by the court, and given various sentences related to their involvement.
Oh boy.
Yeah, this is now getting kind of complicated.
It's worth pausing to go over what life was like for the 6 while they were detained by the police. Albert spent a total of 88 days in solitary confinement. Erkla spent 241 days. Spent 412 days. Trygve spent 627. Christian
Killing me.
spent 682.
Oh, I'm drinking too. I'm right with you.
A whopping
I'm gonna fucking
741 days, or more than 2 full years, in solitary confinement. They were periodically prohibited from sleeping and interrogated hundreds of times. According to prison guard Leonard Magnusson, Saibhar's head would be dumped in buckets of water as he was told he would drown if he did not confess.
That is ridiculous.
Usually it seems like when they try to force a confession, it's like they not reveal the got someone locked up, busted their yeah, I think pretty proud of myself.
While in detention, Christian twice attempted suicide. At times he was made to pose in recreated crime scene photos. In one, Christian strangles a police officer who was standing in for Geffen. False memory experts say that the acting out of supposed crimes can make those crimes more concrete and realistic in the suspect's mind. On May 3rd, 1976, Erla, who was not being detained at the time, was brought in for questioning as a witness. She was kept in custody overnight, and the following day, seemingly out of nowhere, gave a statement that she had shot Erla. She was then detained in solitary until December 22nd.
Their cruelty seems to know no end. If you're already doubting yourself and thinking like, my brain is just blocking off that part of my memory. Suddenly, now you've got sensations about all the things that you made going back. The psychology of it is like, maybe if I give them this or that, I'll let it go.
Is it busy? Is it busy?
On New Year's Eve, 1976, Gisli Gudmundsson, a young detective at the time of the disappearances, who has since become one of the world's foremost false memory syndrome experts, gave Gudmundsson a lie detector test. That test sparked something in Gudmundsson, causing him to suddenly question whether he had been involved at all. He couldn't remember any of it happening. Gisli, author of the book The Psychology of False Confessions, 40 Years of Science and Practice, says false memory syndrome, which can be triggered by interrogations with false evidence, isolation, and tense emotional situations, can lead to false confessions. Gisli says that a diary kept by Gudmundsson while he was detained in solitary for 14 months was the best example of false memory syndrome he's ever seen. Of the whole case, Gisli says that, quote, these individuals had absolutely no knowledge of what happened. They were just trying to appease the police. They were trying to be cooperative because they knew if they were not cooperative, they would be given more solitary confinement. End quote.
Well, now who's this young go-getter showing up on the scene? Because I like the cut of his beard. Yeah, he's kind of running into it. I like when you got this young detective sitting there who's probably like, hey, you know, that guy's been in that room for 700 days. Maybe that's not the best practice. So, maybe think about what we're doing here, folks? Oh, no? No? Okay. No, sorry, okay.
Yeah, with you comes the changing of the practices. Yeah, it was necessary.
Yeah.
In September 2018, everyone was acquitted but Erla, who was still fighting a conviction of perjury. By then, everyone had already finished serving their sentences, and Savar and Christian had already died, both in their 50s. While much of that was about how horrible the justice system in Iceland was in the 1970s, there's still a mystery to get to the bottom of. So with that, here are some theories about what happened to Gudmundur Einarsson and Gudmundur Einarsson. The first theory is that the police got this one right. Gudmundur was murdered by Erla, Savar, Christian, Albert, and Tryggvi. Geffen was murdered by Erla, Savar, Christian, and Ludwig. What evidence is there of this? No bodies were ever found, though there was Erla's missing bedsheet.
Missing bedsheet doesn't always be true.
You know, my freshman year of college, we went to adapt to Beyond Resistance stuff. And my mom was like, hey, you get these rubber sheets. I said, why in the hell would I buy rubber sheets? And she was like, you know, in case you spill like a pop on your bed.
Oh, I thought she was going to say because you're like sleeping in a pool of your mom.
No. I'm like, are you nuts? Anyway, back to the murder.
Did you buy the rubber sheets or not?
No, I didn't buy the rubber sheets.
I think
Who would do that?
Apparently you, see? Pretty tested at it, which makes me feel like,
you
know what? Why don't I stay in that room for 10 days and then I'll ask you about the rubber sheets? How about that?
I like it. It's a good
The second theory is that neither man was murdered. While crime was very uncommon in Iceland, disappearances were not. In fact, disappearances happen so often in Iceland that they feature prominently in the country's folklore. In the 50 years prior to these cases, dozens of people had gone missing in Iceland. Most of them, their cases unsolved. In the more than 40 years since the disappearances of Gudmundur Einarsson and Geffen Einarsson, they too have also taken on a nearly mythical quality within Icelandic culture.
I'm buying that because in Iceland, big open fields where I don't think people are walking on the way. You get a body out there, decomposes, nobody knows.
Yeah. I'm looking
50 years later.
I was looking at kids' Iceland.
I
wasn't on board until you got the decomposing body in an open field, but after that, well, a lot of bodies out there, man.
The third theory is that the men were murdered, but by someone else. New evidence in the case has compelled investigators to reopen it. A new witness says they saw two men carry a third weakened man onto a boat the day Kerfner went missing. That man allegedly told the eyewitness, quote, "Remember," end quote. The boat that was carrying two men and the one weakened man returned to shore. They were only the two men before. Recently, this witness claims to have seen one of the men in East Iceland. Decades later, working by electricity lines.
Weird that you wouldn't just, if you saw someone carrying a weakened man who wouldn't just remember him, you wouldn't maybe follow that or avoid that?
Get the police on the horn, maybe do a little, hey, I saw a guy get very odd. Could have like a bit long. It's like a bit of maybe want to look into it and be like, well, we don't have a missing passport. So, see you later. Hang it up. And that's that.
While these mysterious disappearances took place over 40 years ago, we can draw important lessons for today in the way the cases were handled. While it might be tempting to try and cram facts to fit a convenient theory, truth works the other way around. Had authorities been better equipped to discover the facts of the case, perhaps we'd know what happened to Bruner and Kerfner. But because of a rush to find a convenient solution, these Icelandic disappearances remain unsolved.
It's not often that I have almost zero hope that a case will be solved.
I feel that way.
Really? Yeah. There's a small glimmer, but this one, it just, I don't think so.
And for the record, Iceland needs you should really consider.
Hard sell after the story, but yeah.
Oh, really? Yeah. So shout out to all our murder heads. You're doing so well. Alright, I think everybody knows.
This week on BuzzFeed Unsolved, we investigate the murder of Bugsy Siegel. This monster helped launch the mega casino that we associate with Las Vegas today.
Okay, you rolling the dice at that table?
You know what? Speaking of rolling the dice, we are taking a chance here to do another mob episode. That's probably fun.
No,
you're not going to be able to do anything. Granted, doesn't really matter how old you are. Pulling the trigger is just as easy, but you know what?
You goddamn asshole.
Okay, geez, that easy. Okay, let's do it.
God, I hate this lag bullshit.
Benjamin Siegel was born on February 28, 1906 in Brooklyn, New York. There, along with childhood friends Meyer Lansky and Morris Moe Sedway, Siegel began a criminal career extorting local street vendors in exchange for protection from other gangs in the area. Fellow gang members started calling him Bugsy, a slang term for crazy at the time, due to his violent temper. Allegedly, Bugsy was not a nickname that Siegel cared for, and those who knew him would never call him that to his face.
Now, this is something I find interesting about most mob nicknames. Almost all of them, this is the rule of talking. You don't call them their nickname to their face. So when talking about them, you use the name.
I guess I could see if someone were calling him a baby face or tiny. Because that kind of other popular.
That's embarrassing.
Yeah. Oh, look, I'm not embarrassed to not know much about the mob. Put him behind bars.
Eventually, Siegel, Sedway, and Lansky transitioned to other crimes like car theft, bootlegging, and gambling, rising through the ranks of New York's organized crime world. It's widely thought that Bugsy was one of the four men who in 1931 executed Joe Mazzaria at an Italian restaurant in New York, leading Lucky Luciano to take the throne as the chairman of the board of the American Mafia. In 1937, Lansky sent Bugsy and Moe to Los Angeles to build up the mob's presence on the West Coast. While the mob had been heavily involved in bootlegging during the 20s, by the time Siegel landed in California, the 21st Amendment had put a stop to money to be made on importing illegal hooch.
It feels like the West Coast is always painted as like this just like do-good coast. Like it's always like we got to take the crime syndicate over to the West Coast.
Put some over there.
We never started it over here.
Too much crime here. Let's put some over there.
It's just we can never start anything on our own.
Yeah.
We're too distracted by the sunshine.
Bugsy decided to focus on gambling. He invested in the SS Rex, a gambling ship that was docked 3 miles outside of Santa Monica to try and avoid California anti-gambling laws. While authorities eventually shut it down, Bugsy set his sights on Las Vegas. Nevada had legalized gambling, so there wouldn't be as many headaches trying to avoid police. In 1945, with money from the syndicate back east, Siegel took over a struggling construction project outside of Las Vegas' city limits, the Flamingo Hotel and Casino. At the time, Vegas was nothing like we think of today. The Flamingo would be the first luxury resort on the Strip. Siegel hosted the grand opening of the resort on December 26, 1946, while the project was still unfinished. Nevertheless, mega superstars like Judy Garland and Clark Gable were at the opening, foreshadowing Vegas' glamorous future. After this party, Siegel closed the resort to finish construction, and the mob back east became fancy.
I will say, building a big, giant, expensive luxury resort in the middle of the desert, yeah, you know what? It seems like a bit of a gamble.
It's really great. It's good stuff.
Good game.
By this time, the project's cost had ballooned from Siegel's originally budgeted $1 million to up to $6 million. Much of the overruns believed to be due to Siegel skimming from the top. If there's one thing to remember about the mob, it's that you don't steal from it. During a meeting of mob bigwigs in Cuba, an agreement was reached on the fate of Bugsy. If the Flamingo proved to be a success, he'd be able to make things right. Luckily for Bugsy, by May of 1947, the Flamingo had already made $250,000 in profit. Unluckily for Bugsy, that apparently wasn't enough.
$250,000 in profit? That's like a decent enterprise right there, I would say.
Not good enough.
Not enough for you to be stealing.
Yeah, I would not be happy with that.
Yeah.
On June 20th, 1947, Siegel was sitting on a chintz sofa in the living room of his mistress Virginia Hill's home in Beverly Hills. At 10:45 p.m., from a rose-covered pergola just 14 feet from Bugsy, a .30 caliber military rifle fired at least 9 shots at the mobster. 4 rounds hit him, killing him instantly. Just moments later, 3 of Meyer Lansky's henchmen strolled into the Flamingo Hotel and declared the casino was now theirs. Despite his fame, foreigners misspelled Siegel's name on his toe tag, and his funeral lasted a mere 5 minutes with only about 6 people in attendance.
I don't think that's a testament to how popular he was, as much as it was a testament to maybe the mob's power.
Yeah.
Well, it's like,
Don't show up.
well,
I'll
also,
go to that funeral.
yeah, you
Yeah.
know the mob whacked this
That is
person.
crazy.
Maybe
A
don't
PS5
show up.
for $500.
You don't have yourself a girl list.
If I get murdered, nobody coming after me.
Don't think you're gonna have to put that disclaimer out. It's gonna happen on its own.
Are you? I've got some belief in that. But now that I put the disclaimer out, that's the reason why.
There it is.
I don't want anyone at my funeral, you hear me?
Yeah.
According to Beverly Hills Police Chief Clinton H. Anderson, quote, "We spent many man-hours investigating the Siegel case and were convinced that he was killed by his own associates, but there was never sufficient evidence to pinpoint the identity of the assassin," end quote. With that, it's time to start looking at theories behind who murdered Bugsy Siegel.
Theory 1, the mob. See you next week.
Our first theory is Eddie Cannizaro, aka the Catman. Cannizaro was a former errand boy for Jack Dragnet, who was once described in a report by the State Crime Commission as, quote, the Al Capone of California, end quote. Cannizaro died in 1987 of heart failure, but before he passed on, he called a reporter and federal agents to his deathbed, where he confessed to 7 murders, including Siegel's. According to Cannizaro's confession, quote, "It was a clean hit. I was picked because I knew Siegel and wouldn't make a mistake," end quote.
I don't know if a murder being personal necessarily makes you less likely to make a mistake, but I guess if he's on his deathbed, let him have the sentence.
You may, in the sense that you know them better, you know maybe how they react, you know maybe where they...
But wouldn't that also like bring into emotion? What if you like remember, like you're about to do the hit, I have the scope right at your big head, and I'm thinking, we did have some good times, right? Maybe I should.
Yeah.
You know, that kind of thing.
But then,
But then I got a job.
Professionalism wins over.
Professionalism wins over, and
You pull that trigger.
I Gallagher your head. Yeah. So, you know, casting doubt on Canizaro's confession are a few inconsistencies in his story. Canizaro claimed he was questioned in connection with the murder at the time, but there's no record of an interview with him in the Bugsy case file. As well, Canizaro claimed that after the murder, he drove off in the direction of Wilshire Boulevard. A neighbor questioned after Bugsy was killed, however, told police that after the gunshots, a car was heard hurtling in the opposite direction towards Sunset Boulevard. At the time of his death, Canizaro was living with his mother and over 30 cats in the Agora Hills neighborhood of western LA County. He was hoping to create a birth control serum for cats and had asked some of his old pals in Las Vegas for funding.
Very funny that this man has 30 cats and is trying desperately to stop them breeding.
Maybe,
Like, I like to think he had 2 cats, and then a year later had 30 cats, and it's like, I gotta shut this down.
yeah, I don't feel like that's something you disclose to your mom, but when you're tossing back beer and you know, I got 30 cats.
I think everyone's probably like telling him crazy stories like, well, I got 30 cats. I'm trying to stop him.
I'm trying to stop them from boning. It's controlling my mind. I got a serum. I'm working on a serum. Also, I hate that he calls it a serum. It makes me feel like he is doing some like garage science.
Special little juice that I injected that testicles.
Eddie, get out of the garage! Stop working on your damn serum!
Shut up, mother!
The second theory is a World War II vet, Robert McDonald. This theory comes from Warren Hull, an executive assistant in Nevada who said McDonald's role in Siegel's murder had been a family secret for decades. On his deathbed, Hull's father urged his son to research the story and get it out there. Hull obliged the dying man's request, going on to create a 400-slide PowerPoint presentation laying out the points of his case.
Yowza! Who's he showing that to?
Right, yeah, who is he showing that? I guess investigators, perhaps?
He's just inviting friends over for margaritas?
Yeah.
I got something I want to show you. It's crazy. It's
Oh,
gonna take about 4 and a half hours.
Is this your trip to Niagara Falls? Well, you went to the bathroom because of the McDonald was married to Hull's mother's cousin and best friend, Betty Ann McDonald. Betty Ann's mother, Gina Rockwell, worked at City Hall in Los Angeles. There, she met Jack Dragna, the Al Capone of California from our previous theory. Gino told Dragna her daughter was having troubles with her husband, McDonald, who could be violent at times. McDonald also happened to owe the mob $30,000. Dragna went to McDonald, explaining his debts would be forgiven if he offed Siegel. According to Hull, McDonald's time in the military made him an expert marksman, including with the .30 caliber carbine, the alleged murder weapon. Again, however, the neighbor's report of a speeding car cast doubt on this theory. Hull thinks that McDonald, who lived just on the other side of a golf course from Virginia Hill, would have escaped on foot, sneaking back to his home less than a mile away in the dark. He just lived on the other side of the hill. He sneaked through the dark covert, like on foot.
Unless
He wanted to.
yes. Why would I drive when I could just walk?
You really think he went that deep into it? Just 3 months after Bugsy's murder, McDonald would go on to shoot himself and his wife, Betty Ann. Hull says there's no evidence that Beverly Hills police ever investigated McDonald as a suspect in Siegel's murder, despite the fact that McDonald allegedly used the same type of weapon to kill himself and his wife as he did on Siegel, less than a mile away and only 3 months after Bugsy's murder. Hull believes it's even possible that Howard Hughes may have pressured police not to investigate McDonald, as he had worked closely with the man's father. Howie did. And most of these mob ones, I feel like it's like, maybe he did it behind the barn and buried him in the, tossed his body in the river, whereas this one actually has things that link him to the crime.
The tricky thing is the mob is good at covering the truth.
That is true, that's what they're built on. The third theory comes from Bee Sedway, the wife of Mo Sedway, Bugsy's childhood friend coming up in the mob. According to Bee, Mo had been sending casino numbers back to Meyer Lansky on the East Coast, including gambling winnings and, crucially, construction costs. Bugsy conducted a meeting in March of 1947 without Mo.
There, he reportedly said he was looking to get rid of Mo, saying, quote, "I'll have Mo shot, chop his body up, and feed it to the Flamingo Hotel's kitchen garbage disposal." And
The shit's
I
on my
thought you were
knees.
going to say you were going to feed me the flamingos, and that would have been cool as hell.
one of the attendees told Mo, who called his wife and asked her to drive from LA to Vegas. The two then drove out into the desert and then walked even further to ensure a private conversation.
Walking into the desert.
Well, because that's the only way you can ensure.
Hey, I get it.
Also, not gonna lie, if you do have a death threat on your head, maybe not best to walk out where no one could find you or see you. Let's pre-package ourselves for this murder. Make it real nice and easy. This will be real nice. They can't hear us at all.
Let's have a private conversation. You know what we ought to do? Dig a hole for ourselves.
They'll never find us down here.
6 feet down. I feel that'll be pretty good.
It'll be good. It'll be great.
When Mo told his wife of the threat against him, B immediately called Matthew Moose Panza, a crane operator and B's lover. Mo and B, who married when he was 41 and she just 17, had a very unconventional marriage for the time. They were very honest with one another and knew about one another's extramarital companions. In fact, Mo had insisted that upon his death, Moose was to marry B. After their meeting, Moose arrived in Las Vegas to protect Mo. After the mob boss meeting in Cuba where cost overruns on the Flamingo were discussed, however, Lansky gave Mo his blessing to take matters.
This is my apocalyptic
Moose
uniform.
volunteered to do the job and spent weeks practicing his marksmanship.
I got a question about...
I want that one.
Yeah. Oh, because you think
I wanna
you
be
name them off,
sexy.
it's kind of like...
Yeah.
You
know,
are
like
sexy,
a big,
baby.
tall, lanky guy like me would be a short stack or something.
I'd be sexy like that
You're a
though.
fan of boxing.
Yeah, I love
Wow.
dudes who are doing like, oh, Moose gets here, a big knock at the door, they open the door, and we'll go,
Hey there. What's wrong?
Mo's in trouble? I mean, how did the moose mobile? Charge down.
According to B, after pulling the trigger, Moose hurried to the car and drove straight to Santa Monica, where he broke down the rifle, leaving the butt of the gun on a rooftop, and throwing the barrel into the ocean. As his health was failing, B's son Robbie reached out to a reporter to tell his mother's story. When that reporter reached out to the Beverly Hills Police Department to check whether Moose had been considered a suspect, they replied, quote, "It's in the best interest of the city of Beverly Hills not to speak to you," end quote.
I love the fact that that posh office is speaking.
yeah. That's just, I think that's just how everything in California.
Daddy.
What?
Really though?
Oh, yeah.
Well, I guess Beverly Hills I always saw as a place that, like, you know, I know a lot of LA is corrupt, but
All of it.
so you go by the principle that the more glamorous, the more dirty.
Oh, for sure.
Yet another theory suggests the
But.
Where's this bitch at?
Huh?
So where's this bitch at?
She is trying to, they went to their old place so that way they can see if their stimulus check came in. And then she said that they're going to be loading up from there. I don't know. She wanted to know my number. I said 857-3099. What, are you laughing at me?
That bitch got jokes.
I got jokes.
Yeah.
I got jokes. Did you know that I got jokes?
That was a pretty good one.
Yeah. My smart ass mouth has been coming from you.
I know.
Are you proud?
Yes.
Do you pat yourself on the back a little every day? Fucker.
I'm the man. Hey,
you look Transformers.
Yes, I am. Cool.
I want to see if this bitch is knocked up.
Oh. I was hearing something about somebody was getting laid while I was in there on the phones. I was all like, she watching porn or is that part of the TV show?
It's part of the TV show. She was getting it. and he wasn't nutting in her. He was like shooting it on the ground. I'm like, the fuck?
I'd have nutted off in that bitch.
No, he doesn't want no errors, remember?
I know, but still, I'd have nut off in that bitch.
Oh, she tricked him though. She asked one of her maids how the hell does that happen, and the maid told her, and when they were getting at it, she rode his ass, and he's like, you gotta stop, and she's like, I'm like, yeah, get it, girl.
Make him come.
And he's like all upset, why did you do that? I'm not supposed to shoot him.
You motherfucker.
Who? Me?
No.
Oh. Sorry.
Not everything is about you, Danica.
Fuck off.
You fuck off, fucker.
Oh, shit.
Miss Thompson, thank you for joining us. I did not realize I had a choice. My brother wished for an audience, and I wished to avoid any further scandal attached to my family's name. I will remain here as a chaperone.
Marina, you must tell me that this Whistledown woman is mistaken. What she wrote, it cannot be true.
But it is.
You are with child. I do not understand. We were to be wed. You said you loved me.
God, I hold you in the greatest esteem.
Esteem? You are a cruel woman indeed to stand here and talk of friendly affection as if you have not just committed a grave sin against me.
Speak not of sin, Mr. Bridgerton. I did not come here to be shamed by you, nor anyone else. I did not know better. You may think me a villain, but I did what I thought I must. No one ever truly helped me, or guided me in a different direction. I had no choice. I needed to wed, and you were the only man who offered me even a glimpse of happiness.
So I should feel flattered then. Consider myself lucky that you chose me, lied to me, tried to trick me into a fraud of a marriage.
We got all kinds of stuff right on top of us now.
I shall take my leave of you for the last time, Miss Thompson.
She put that. 6753099. Talk to you. Oh yeah. Bish. Come on. Got it. What are them yellow orange people?
Those are the baddies.
Are you're and the blues?
I'm right here in this purple shit.
What's the blues?
The blues are our friends. But my fucking dumbass FC said, oh, we want to take care of this subcap. Now the subcap's like, there's way too many of them than us. And he's like, yeah, we got this. No, we don't, you fucking idiot.
But I see now that was all a lie.
Yeah, that's on you, bitch.
I believe I would like to return home now. After all, we don't want another scandal attached to your family name.
Carriage is waiting, Mum. We must prepare for the Queen's lunch. Of course.
And they thought that was the shit back then?
The hair?
Yeah.
Yeah, I always thought that shit was crazy. It's like, what
The dudes
fuck?
too.
I know.
Dudes were too. I'm
all
like,
what
you
the
do
fuck?
not look hot. That's gotta be itchy as fuck.
Yeah. I'm like, bro, if it ain't my real hair, get it off my head.
That's what I'm screaming. That was the extensions back then.
I wonder if it was made from horsehair.
I don't know.
Bro, this is so slow.
This was not a good
Slow,
idea to do
slow.
this. Not on you. I'm talking about on them. It doesn't really look like nothing's going on.
That's because everything's in slow motion. The tie-dye's at like friggin' redonkulous level. What is it?
What's a tie-dye?
Slow motion?
Tie-dye slow motion? Are they all experiencing lag too?
Yep, server delayed.
That's hilarious.
I just got this server delayed message.
Oh, is this not lovely? All of us together again.
Lovely indeed. We should tempt scandal more often.
Oh, are those dwarves?
Duchess, may I say how well you look? Oh, you are too kind. Is it not marvellous to be wed?
It is both a joy and a wonder indeed.
Make way! You should all act like sheep flocking to the trough. I have 100 guineas wagered on there being a Hastings heir within the year. Are you here to a child?
We have certainly been devoting our energies to the endeavour, Your Majesty. We should hope to see our queen soon satisfied.
See to it that you do.
Your duplicity comes so naturally.
I seem to have learned from the best.
I've missed you in the studio, but you must join me for another drawing lesson. As I said, improvement is all a matter of practice.
At least that is the excuse he gives for coming home.
I can't seem to get my guns to fire.
Guns? What guns? Sorry. Don't look at me.
Have you been drinking already?
No. That's how awful this lag is. This.
I clicked on this shit. It's been 20 minutes now and it ain't done nothing yet. I'm like, the fuck, bro? Fucking let me shoot something.
What are these little bees? And horses?
The B is, we own the system. They, the bad guys own the iHub. We're fighting over this system, basically.
Oh. Well, you think they would have called more people?
There's 6,500 people in the system right now.
Them or us? All together?
All together.
Oh.
That's why it's so goddamn laggy.
Oh, yeah.
Were you able to meet my friend Weatherby at my party? Come, I shall introduce you.
No! Thank you. I see my mother requires my presence. Good day.
Her Majesty requires an audience.
With me now?
Who is she? Your Majesty. Mr. John, I tasked you with unmasking the scandal monger.
Believe me, I am intent on locating her, and I'm angry at myself for having not yet uncovered her identity. But I was thinking...
Clearly not fast enough. My patience has limits. Get me an answer. Your queen commands it.
Of course. Your Majesty.
So, you have returned. Excellent timing, what with all the tittle-tattle concerning your brother.
A mere coincidence, Lady Danbury, I am sure.
The plan is working. I have heard nary a peep about Mr. Bridgerton's unfortunate entanglement with the Thompson girl. Oh, I almost forgot. I'm hosting a party I would very much like you to attend.
We love a good party.
I'm not sure when we will be accepting invitations.
It is an invitation for one. Only you, Your Grace. A special soiree with the married ladies of the town, of which you are the newest member.
The audacity. Don't they try to entrap poor...
It was like this yesterday, it's like this today, it's like this tomorrow, it's like this every day.
I blame a lot of that on our internet service. It blows.
Oh, the wind blew. We're going to run super, super slow. What is this here? Sashanasha's blah 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 destroyed. So these are all the things who died?
That's little events that you can do to get extra experience points. And I've totally ignored them the whole event. I'm like, fuck that noise. I'm gonna go run down some dumb shit.
Well, I guess nobody's shooting at you.
Not right now. But they will be here in a second when they realize I'm shooting one of their supers. If it'll ever fucking shoot.
How are you faring? Has it been terrible at the house?
Not had a caller in 3 days. My mother swears we're ruined. But what do you call him? I've seen pieces from the news.
His pride is wounded, but he will be quite well. The gentlemen always are in these matters, but Penny, you have not heard what people are saying. Lady Whistledown has gone too far this time.
And I thought you were her greatest admirer.
Not that she's smeared the name of my greatest friend. When we uncover Whistledown's identity, we will convince her to publish a retraction and restore your family's reputation. All will be well again, I promise you. My dear Lady Bridget, is this not a dreadful circumstance for us both to have been so duped by that scheming hussy? To think that Miss Thompson would take advantage of my kindness after I opened my home to her. You must believe I had no idea of...
Lady Featherington, I must ask you to leave.
But I have an invitation.
Not anymore. I'm sure you wish to avoid any further unpleasantness.
Damn.
Nan should teach them. You teach them what, Miss Cowper? Judging not, lest we too be judged.
Damn it, bitch. Fucking better call me. Okay, thank you.
No.
Oh, yeah.
You see this? This is a no Danica.
Yes, Danica.
No Danica.
What's the difference between a platinum and a whatever? I don't know. Is it in the taste?
More alcohol.
Oh.
The platinum's stronger.
Is it? Do you like it?
It's been a while since I drank one, but if I remember right, I got fucked up off of a 6-pack.
Oh.
And I was all like, oh my god.
Something troubles you. I know you are a grown woman now, but I am still your mother, and you can come to me when you need advice. Marriage has its joys, but it also brings with it its special trials. In that you are correct.
My marriage is far from perfect. Then share your thoughts. Perhaps I can offer my wisdom. Or perhaps you will send me off with more vague metaphors and trite remarks.
Darling, I am merely trying to be of help.
You know what might have truly helped matters? If your motherly advice had actually prepared me to wed.
Whatever do you mean?
I mean, Mamma, that you sent me out into the world no better than a fool. You taught me how to play pretend, but nothing of the realities of married life, of marital relations. If you had informed me about the things that were truly important, if I'd have known the truth, then perhaps I... Daphne. It is the heat. The Duchess is quite overcome.
Somebody killed that damn
We were
tractor
ridiculed
unit.
by all today. Treated as though we were worth it, and it's all your fault.
How could I have been at fault? I was not even there.
But if it were not for your habit, we would have been able to rid ourselves of mistrust in the moment we learned of her condition. None of this would have happened. Milady, the Duchess of Hastings, she is here.
I'm so glad you thought to visit us, Your Grace. I fear your mother was rather heated at luncheon, but...
God damn it.
You said RD in the Onyx?
What if I did the beef tips with the dirty rice? Like we usually do with the sausage, only I replace it with the
Offer an
stew.
explanation.
I require a word with Miss Thompson.
God damn you. I wanted you to shoot more than once, you asshole.
For what it is worth, I am sorry. Your brother is a sweet boy.
You do not need to. I came here to apologize to you.
To me.
I misjudged you, and I wanted to tell you that what you felt you had to do. I understand.
I wish it had not happened this way.
No, you are certainly not the only one.
George was a soldier, but he was also gentle and kind. He was perfect. I fancied myself in love. The next thing I knew, my courses stopped, and I found myself with child and alone.
What is Sir George's surname? Or do you know where he is stationed? His regiment?
Whatever for, Your Grace.
I hear General Langham and his wife are in London. Perhaps I could speak to him, or her, and have Sir George found.
What use would that be? George doesn't want to be with me.
But do you really want to be alone? No rank, no protection, no support for you or your child. Surely anything is better than that. Why should he be the one to choose your future, when he clearly cares not for the outcome? He's at fault here. Perhaps I can make him come back and take responsibility for you and his child. Why should you be left all alone to bear the punishment for his crime?
You truly think you can do this?
I assure you, Miss Thompson, I'm quite capable of doing more than you think.
Aw, she's gonna help him find her baby daddy. You wouldn't have knocked me up and ran away, would you?
No, baby.
That's a yes, baby.
No, it's not. It's a no, baby.
Mm-hmm. Okay, I knocked you up. Bye. I'll see you maybe after 9 months and try to do it again.
No.
Hello. Hey.
She said, hello. Where you doing?
Hardee's? Okay, so I need to go ahead and
Hey,
head that
mama
way?
ma'am.
It ain't that far. It ain't that far. It's the Hardee's and that. Okay, well I'm in my car, walking there now.
You fucking cunt. God damn you cunts. I guess the Knicks is dead. There's that motherfucker.
Daddy, look who's home! Our baby's home! I'm home! Our baby's home too! Thank God! I didn't know if I was gonna survive.
I didn't know if I was going to survive.
Yeah. Yeah. I missed you. I missed you so much. I miss you so much. I brought my damn coffee with me. You brought your coffee? Did you guys get your check? No. He went by there. He said that when he gets it, he's got a Western Union money. You hear me? Yeah. I heard you. Yeah, we went by them. He went by the mailbox before, yeah. Over the holidays and everything. Yeah, you know. Oh. I'll help you bring it. That's vanilla honey. What do you want? Your cock. Oh shit. Come on. Come on. Yay! I said, yeah, you should. He's like, baby, he's like, can you even handle pills? I'm like, no, just to see me on the damn muscle relaxer. I said, my head. My baby. Chris's thing killed me. Trying to make these chicks happy. I was like, he got me a Happy Meal. And then I said, are you happy? And she's like, if it's got a toy. Fabulous like, you being so petty, bitch, stop. I'm like, I am not being petty.
I didn't check to see if it had a toy.
It has one. Mine had one.
Well, that's yours.
Well, you can have mine if yours don't have one.
Motherfucking what a goddamn motherfucking toy. But is Chris, are you gonna go up? Is he gonna go up there with us when we get this weed?
Huh?
Yeah.
What?
You gonna go up there when we get this weed? Did she tell you the prices he gave me? Okay, we can do 60 for a half, which isn't bad. Usually I pay 100 for a half.
That's what I've been paying for a half.
Well, 60. 120 for a quarter, and 240 for an ounce.
I don't think I'll do a whole ounce. I'd be low on money, man.
Well, I was thinking, if Josh gives me this money before then, we could both go in on 60 and just get us a damn quarter. And get us more. But I'm telling y'all, I get a quarter of weed, my head's gonna be like, I stole this bottle. You don't know it.
Oh, yes, he does. He don't know whenever he goes back home and it's gone. Your
No.
fucking acetone shit.
No. I took a gallon and I poured it. Okay, I went and got a damn funnel.
Put water in it?
No. He got a half a gallon. Well, he thought he hid it from me. I found out. Like, you fucking motherfucker. I'm like a damn hound dog when it comes to my liquor. I filled it up.
He drinks the same thing you do?
How do you think I started on it?
Huh?
And then, that's what Chris was but Josh was like, what did Chris and Danica drink? I was like, I've seen Chris drink beer. Danica gets on the wine. So I'm just going to warn you when she does. He's like, it'd be no worse than you crying on the phone with me the other night because you thought I was trying to break up with you, you emotional shit. I'm like this. Depends on what day of the week it is.
Depends on what day of the week it is.
Yeah.
What has this little monster been up to? Huh?
Oh, he was so good.
What's this little monster been up to?
You see some of the pictures I showed y'all. Shadows, I don't want him to go. Mama!
That's my baby.
And I'm like, Josh was like, well, you want to leave him with me a couple days and then I'll bring him back? And I'm like, no!
Nope.
It's like, Dad, you care about a dog more than your kids. I'm like, he's not an asshole like my kids.
God damn. Not an asshole like my kids.
Yay.
Fagler asked me when are you dropping me and her off at the middle ward?
Here, kitty. I got bacon.
But he had to stop for a minute. Because he didn't recognize the name. He's like, who the fuck is calling my bitch kitty? I call her that. Okay, never mind.
Go back. He was barking.
Oh, well, shit. Oh. I thought 68 Kill was on damn Netflix.
We watched it on the whatchamacallit. On the Fire Stick. What's your rat's nest doing?
Go kill it.
You've been poking at it? Yay, we're not gonna have to buzz your head. That's always a good thing.
Because that's what every woman wants to hear.
Well, your hair is very beautiful. I don't want you to get your hair buzzed.
I don't remember it. Buzzerhead.
No.
Go get the wine right now because we about to act a fool.
Okay.
I buzzed my head.
You're a guy.
It does look good though. I like it.
I was trying to help you out there.
Shit.
We cut the knot out and then tell your ass to brush every day. You know? Bitch, brush your hair. Before you touch your bottle or the phone, brush your hair. Hair's fucked.
Nowhere did she touch the hair.
Yeah, hair's fucked. This counts, right?
Yeah, because I was talking to Fagler the other night. Josh, who are you talking to? And I just looked at him. He knew once I looked at him, he's like, you gonna come over here and you gonna talk to him. And Fagler's like,
is that when you decked him?
Yeah, that's what Fagler's like. Just hit him. What? He's a baby. He's like, you stupid fucking whore. Fagler, hit him. And I went. Fagler's like, did you really just hit him? You told me to. Don't be telling me to hit people and don't expect me to hit people because I don't hit people. It's like an octopus. Since they think they will go off and they will hit fish. Punch them out of spite. And this says, fuck you, fish. And then on Facebook, and I said,
did you tell him about the fish titties?
No.
No.
Why were you popping him? What was he doing?
You're trying to eat my wire.
He's been biting Danica. Oh, I forgot his damn balls.
His balls? Well, he's not going to have balls.
I knew it! You have balls in there!
No. Why is he biting?
Maybe he's more comfortable.
Why you got balls?
Let me tell you something.
You got balls too? Maybe?
Yes, she does.
She says she's got 2 sets of the lady balls. Ow!
Well, he is now sleeping. When he sleeps, he'll sleep on his belly and like, woke up and Shannon's over there petting him. And she's doing this, dude. She's over there like this. Petting his nutsack.
That's why he went to sleep.
She was like,
he's like, yeah, baby, stroke.
She said, Mommy, this is the softest part of him. And I'm like,
that's your baby.
Fagler's like, that's your child. And I'm like, I do not stroke dog nuts.
I do not stroke dog nuts. I'm fucking dog nuts roasting on an open fire. Shit. Hell to the fucking dog, man.
What? Do you want some? Do you want some? Do you want ruff? 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 What?
He's like, wait, what the fuck?
Yeah, my mama said he looks more bulldog than anything. That's what my dad said.
Oh, you saw the grandpappies.
Oh, my dad had him in the truck. So where the hell are you going? Nowhere.
Where's he going?
He's like, what you gonna do? Yeah, you got a car, you can't come in. I was like, I know where you live, and so I was like, I'm gonna call Danica.
Let me shoot this fucker. God.
But he was a good boy. He was such a good little shit. Hey, don't shoot.
Fucking,
What?
F6,
Tell me
bitch.
no. Keep talking shit. Keep talking shit. I'll grab you by your penis.
Stop it.
Miss Donald Trump over here. Grab him by the Peter.
Oh my god, he laughed so fucking hard at that damn joke.
Punch me in the pussy.
Susan was like, we trying to have a serious conversation over here. You gonna come, you jump the floor, you like to fuck jump floors, you like to put them in the pussy. That's like Chris was like, I was like, oh fucking Jesus. And this motherfucker's gonna be at the fight. I'm like, yep. He was like, he's gonna be going around.
Hey!
Punch him in the pussy!
Punch his asshole!
I'm going to punch his asshole. He punches me in the pussy, I'm punching his ass. Like, straight put my whole fist up his damn. She says something, she's like, oh, he's a boxer. I'm like,
I'd be a
no,
happy man if I could actually
MMA.
shoot
I was like,
something.
he's MMA. She was like, oh. And he corrected her, like, right below me. I'm like,
Screw that.
do you see boxing gloves on his hands? No, there's tape. Which I was in the video. There's some, like, people, I got people putting teardrop sad faces that I'm in a relationship. He's like, and then that one dude was like, you can't do this to me, I love you so much. And Fabulous knows, like, who is this bro? I don't know, what the hell if I fucking know. I was like, god damn, I'm really gonna have to watch you at this fucking fight. And I was like, probably. Especially
if you're coked out.
I don't know if I'm gonna do that.
Well, it's probably a good idea. Because I don't, you know.
Well, I don't know how I'm gonna react to him getting hit. Like, I've been to these fights, but it's different when you got somebody you know get, you know, because there's a possibility him and Buck's a badass. He's like, I really don't want to have to tell you this, but I might get my ass whooped. I said, so you know what happens in the fight?
Everybody thought my cousin was going to whoop my ass in that fight we did, and I beat the hell out of him.
And then Dana was like, that's not necessarily true. He's like, dude, he's like, cause he was fighting before, and he went to jail. And then he's only been like in 2 or 3 fights after his jail, and he's lost 2 of them.
He had to go to the hospital when I was done.
Oh, he got knocked the fuck out? I'm like, how the hell does somebody knock your big ass out?
Well, I knocked him out and broke his ankle.
Oh. He's like, baby, he's like, if you get hit a certain way, it don't matter how hard they hit you. They can hit you a certain way and you out.
Yep.
He said,
It's right across that temple.
And he said that's what happened.
They catch that temple, you gone.
And I
You
said,
asleep.
when somebody knocks your ass out, my ass gonna be up in the cage trying to find this son of a bitch. He's like, no, Miss Sparky Britches. I'm like, so he's gonna get hit and I'm gonna be like, don't hit him again. I taught my aunt either. She's like, look up some incantation spells, some energy spells. Throw your energy into him. I was like, can I do that? She's like, yeah, you might pass out, but
You might pass out.
he'll win. I looked some of it up.
Yeah.
Just to see if I could do it. I don't know. He'd have to be getting his ass whooped. I'd have to be able to feel that adrenaline, that negative energy, and turn it into a positive somehow. Yeah, there's things if you do it. You
gotta be screaming at the motherfuckers. Let's get ridiculous!
And she's like, you'll know it. Because if he feels it, he like, it'll turn, he'll go into a much beast mode. That's what I call him. It's not beast. Just like, that's kind of hot.
Look at that body. Look at that body. I worked out.
I was like, yeah. It's like, let me guess.
Booyaka, booyaka, booyaka. What?
Oh no, Anita.
Booyaka, 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 booyaka.
He's like, he's in your stomach then. No, bitch, he's in your, I said, he off in my damn guts. Like, I'm all like, like James. I was like, give my money. But he came like in 2 minutes. What the fuck am I supposed to do in 2 minutes?
Be proud? I guess.
Like,
I don't know.
okay. Still, I was like, you're done? Thanks.
Cash at me.
Can I give you a couple minutes? Baby, I gotta go. It's like that one, me as a girlfriend, angry. Yeah, I brought me some coffee.
What kind of coffee?
Folgers, instant.
Like what we have?
They're not gonna fucking use it. If she's not using it, fuck her. Stupid cunt.
Bia.
Yeah, she stole one of her stuff while she was away.
Huh?
She stole one of her stuff while she was away.
When I was in the hospital, because it was Christmas Eve, nobody was showing up at the hospital without something for Lacey because they don't know how Lacey is, especially when she's sick. Well, he got me a little coffee mug since Merry Christmas, and I love Charlie Brown in Woodstock.
Uh-huh.
Well, it had that little Charlie, which he got a hold of.
God damn it. I didn't mean to lock that up.
Did he tear it up?
Yeah.
So he was tearing up stuff over there?
Baby, he's a puppy, he's teething.
Just give him some apple.
No!
Give him your Sailor Jerry
No,
and
you
rub
do not
it on
dog
his teeth.
Sailor Jerry. I'm trying to kill his ass.
Yeah, because it's acetone.
But, I was looking for it because I knew I had left it in the room.
Crazy bitches.
So I walked in her bedroom because Ava ran and it's sitting right there. She's like, oh, well, I like Charlie Brown. I can't fuck what you like.
Thank you.
Bitch. Yes.
She probably drank out of it.
I bleached that shit.
She said I bleached it.
Then I found Mama bought me this.
Oh, she bought you that? What's it say? Jumanji? Aww.
I like California Republic. But yeah, girl. Oh, I'm a boyfriend now.
There's a pink vibrator in the bedroom. It goes.
I don't know what it does.
Are you sure? Because you fell asleep with that motherfucker.
It went wow.
Fell asleep with it in your pussy like it was a goddamn butt plug.
You're so fucking stupid. No, I'm about to show y'all something. Y'all ready?
Mm-hmm.
First, just look at the picture. Then read the caption.
Look at the. Oh yeah, he sent me this too. When the cops raid the trap house, so you pretend to be a fish.
Fuckers in the aquarium. That's some stupid shit I would fucking do. I'm a mermaid.
Live action mermaid too.
Fuck that black bitch supposed to be playing Ariel.
There's a black bitch playing Ariel?
In the new remake? Yeah, you can hear about that.
Who is it?
Holly Berry.
Halle Berry?
No. She's younger. It's not the fucking. Not
Well,
Catwoman.
Halle Berry's not completely black. She's a mixed girl.
What?
That's why she's pretty.
Whatever.
Most straight black bitches aren't that pretty. They gotta have some white in them.
Little bit of Caucasian in that bitch. Boom! Instant prettiness.
Have you heard about her? She's batshit crazy.
Who, Halle Berry?
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Fucking nut job.
She's a woman. We all fucking batshit.
Well, that's just like that Catherine Zeta-Jones. She bipolar.
Yeah.
We
She
all
crazy though too.
bipolar.
That girl's so fucking fine too. God damn. It figures she's fucking nuts.
Look at Taylor Swift.
Seems like the hotter they are, the the crazier they are.
Are you glad our puppy's home?
Huh?
See my pants?
Yeah, I got little kitty cats. That's the only puss you come in contact with. The only puss that doesn't make her fucking get allergies.
Girl, at Wishbone,
Yeah.
we put Wishbone and him on the phone. We let them group chat. That dog's fucking stupid. Smokey,
They didn't look at each other?
he's all like looking. Oh, is he high? No?
Are you sure?
Is he okay? Yeah, he's fine. Because like Wishbone run all over the place. Smokey's all like,
I want to see if this bitch is knocked up.
Me too. Me?
On Netflix. Eat your sandwich. Bash.
Bitch, eat a burger.
You got your soda in there.
you cannot say nothing about burgers this over here planet shit.
What?
She's making fun of my veggie burgers.
Oh yeah, I hate those things.
Well, she got so drunk, she said, they're not that good.
Yeah, and then she tasted one sober and she was like, "Ugh."
There's a lot of things I'll do when I'm drunk.
Really?
What else you gonna do?
Bend over. Relax the ass muscles.
She does the butt stuff. You ain't gotta tell her twice about the butt stuff.
I love doing the butt stuff. I don't know about doing the butt stuff with my boyfriend. I might not have an ass lift. My foot being like my ass and my pussy all doing it as one.
And tear it all open.
Give me a full pussy on me.
Oh, good God.
There goes the colonoscopy right there.
Baby, am I clear? Time is it?
I don't know.
9:21.
I have defeated the best, and I'm
That's what I
confident
said.
I shall
I said,
continue
okay.
to do so.
You just
There isn't
continue to think we're gonna work things out because I'm sick of
They
saying it.
are expensive, which is why
So I guess the weekend of the fight is when it's all gonna fucking take.
proposition in mind.
Cause like he said, you ain't even met this dude. This dude could be a serial killer.
Yeah, he's gonna stab my pussy really well.
Slaughter that fucking vagina is what he's gonna do.
That's what I just said.
Whole goddamn Lake Town work on your ass. We gonna shake the motherfucking building.
Business scheme, which may very well fail, or back the sure thing. You agreed to throw your next match.
My mama
That
asked,
makes
"Hey,
such a
hey,
difference when you dependent.
how are you in the?"
Are these Titans still dying left and right?
Which one are you with this week? She's like, I don't know. She's like, 'cause there's like 5 of motherfucking hospitals. They're going. And I was like, I said, let me correct you. She's like, how many people have you slept with this year? I'm like, well, considering we're 2 days into the new year, nobody. She looked at me. She's like, who was the last man you slept with? I was like, she's like, okay, I know you slept. I know you were fabulous. She was like, but was he the last one, or you had sex with Garrett? I was like, she went. She went. You ain't lying about pots, are you? I'm like, no. And then she told me, she's like, I've always had a thing for him. And I'm like, you just made things a lot weirder.
That's funny.
You just made things a lot weirder.
Because she waited for my dad to leave. She's like, was he good? I'm like, Mom, he lasted 2 minutes. She's like, best 2 minutes of my life. I was like, you think that? I was like, oh my god. She was like, coming from a motherfucker who's dating a gorgeous ass damn MMA fighter who I said, I will fucking kill you. I did. I told her. Oh, fuck you. You have James on your mom. I said, fuck me, he'll fuck you. Mom's like, fucking at the same time? Really make shit fucked up. Dad, you want to join?
Oh my good googly goo.
Oh goddamn, Lacey. You trying to motherfucker hit it all up.
Fuck it, y'all only live once. YOLO.
I'm fucking my mom and my daddy and my sugar daddy. Good God.
What's up, Daddy? Who you talking to?
Oh shit. Oh my god. Oh, that was my devilish evil coming out right there. Holy fuck. That was great. I laughed a little too hard at that.
Oh, Daddy! Whoops.
My bad.
Sorry, Daddy. I was talking to the sugar one. He's like, call me Daddy. I'm like, I'm not calling you fucking Daddy. You know my daddy.
Where are these motherfuckers going?
I said, I will call you something else.
What you gonna call him?
Papa.
AKA Daddy.
Or Poppy or something.
Poppy.
Ooh, Poppy.
What's up, Poppy? Oh, Poppy!
It's still code for Daddy.
Well, it's something different than fucking Daddy. I can't do that. I can't do that. I can't. Oh, Daddy! No, my daddy just popped in my motherfucking head. Stop! Get out!
Get out. Pull out my vagina.
Oh my.
I came for my daddy's dick, okay? I said that much, right? Because he was like, why are you on my daddy? Because that's what he wanted me to call him. Like, because I came for my daddy's ball sack? Then he goes, well, your mom too. No. My dad's the one that spit my ass out. He went,
My mama just didn't make him use protection.
I was sitting there, and he had his hands on his thing, and he went, how do you put everything in perfect perspective? I'm like, that's how it is. We have to fucking grow the motherfuckers. All y'all do is get word, you're done.
Well, some of them are. I raised my youngins.
I'm saying conceiving them. All y'all do is stick it in and fucking spit. We're the ones that gotta sit there and be like, God damn it, I gotta push a watermelon out of my pussy! Because you put this seed in me! I'm sorry.
I did get the morning sickness shit every time. I don't get that.
Oh, you had 70 times.
Yeah. It's weird though, because it's like, why? Why am I getting this?
Because you and the wife at the time had an emotional connection.
No,
So-
I had an emotional connection. She didn't.
Well, somebody had a motherfucking connection, okay?
Hey.
Fucking Brandy. Can you lock something, man?
Yeah, did
I
you
want to
say you got
shoot
a PS4?
something.
I sent him the messages.
What?
Did you not get them?
What about a PS4?
Fagner was looking for a PS4, and so he told me to, you know, I asked if he wanted me to look in my area, because he couldn't find one in his. So I was like, okay. So I looked at mine, and I sent them all to him. All the ones that I thought that were in his price range. Everything else was 300, 500, 1,000, and some of them didn't have anything to do with PS4 because they threw in Xbox and PS2, and I'm like, I specifically said PS4. So.
No. You are not going to sit here and say this shit to me.
What? Say what shit?
Fucking hold on.
Okay, well, I'm gonna see if this bitch is pregnant.
Yeah, you.
You see how quickly she dropped that phone? She's like, wait, what? Who's getting pregnant?
Lacey.
Mm-mm.
They said, fuck that shit.
Mm-hmm.
Which one is that? Which F key is that?
Send this to you. Because you about to hear me and this motherfucker get into it.
Why? Why you guys gotta be hot and cold?
You gonna sit here.
We agree to throw in the
Not
next
Fagner,
match.
baby.
Oh, okay.
And I'll make such a wager on your opponent that even half my winnings will set you and your family up for life. My honor is not for sale.
Ooh,
Are these
Doug,
Titans
did
running
you
away?
Fart? Good God.
Yes. He's got some stadia. Girl, he farted in my face. Because he would get up there and like lay on me. I went,
There's a reason your back is dwindling, Mr. Marsh. You're a performer, a mere entertainment.
What
We
is
are
it?
happy to trade
Bridgerton.
wages on the outcome of your fists, but good
What?
gentlemen
Just
will never see you as a respectable man of business. I know. You have a fighting spirit. Passed down by your father, no doubt? He was a soldier, yeah? Managed to flee the colonies after serving in Dunbar's
Chris was
regiment.
like, he was on the he was working, and he heard these bitches up on here like fucking.
I was like, wait a fucking minute.
He's like, are you
My girl on Pornhub?
No.
Oh, Josh caught me on Pornhub this morning. And then he seen what it was, and he was like,
What was it?
I am just doing research.
Uh-huh.
Is it DP? Is that what it was?
What's DP?
Double penetration. One in the ass, one in the
Double
pussy.
penetrated. That's not happening, but
I mean, that sounds like fun.
it does sound like fun, but he said no. He said the guy was for him, so I'm like, well, that's not really that fair, but okay. You can get fucked in the ass, I can't.
He's selfish.
Yeah, tell him that. You selfish.
Selfish bastard. Xander's hot.
One simple arrangement, and both our problems will be solved. I merely ask that you have a think of it, at the very least.
The Tom has been desperate for you since you returned. We've been drowning in calling cards. Well, Lady Danbury requires your attendance at her party on Thursday.
Collection of married ladies. I can only imagine.
No, he gonna sit here and keep saying Darren doesn't know she sent what she knew kids. So I sent him that thing where he said I was a rebound. I said, tell you what, call me and explain this to me.
Do you suppose
I want to bitch him out.
attendance at Lady Danbury's soiree?
Well, we're going to Georgia in April, so
Don't you enjoy society?
I ain't going to see him.
you can beat his ass in person if you want to.
At least then it'll be a fucking definite thing.
Then say I went back. I would love to attend.
I can't tell if they're running away or not, but it looks like the blob's getting smaller.
They're probably scared.
Well, we're like killing their expensive shit left and right, so I think they're trying to run.
Is this one of the British shows?
No, they're in London.
London. Drinking a spot of tea, having sex everywhere.
Oh, they had sex outside, sex inside. He ate her fucking puss in the library.
I even had an orgy room. I was like, holy shit, the orgy room. I want to go there.
Okay, so her man and her,
God damn it!
they're gonna all have sex together, and I mean they're gonna have sex and we're gonna have sex in the same room. You're okay with that?
Yeah.
What? They're not touching me. I mean, she's not. She's fucking him. I'm fucking you. We're not sharing swinging partners here. Okay, this is cool. All right, bye. Ow.
Thought I'd, let you know.
I can't say I might not try to stick a finger in Danica's butt, but...
Oh, God.
See, that makes me paranoid because the motherfucker would be like, I want to be funny. I'm going to poke him in the butt with my finger.
No.
Oh, fuck that.
He knows how you feel about it, so he's going to respect your wishes. So, but I might stick a Cheeto up
Flame
Lacey.
2256 is getting yellow
I
box.
told him about that. It's like, this bitch will get wine drunk and try to stick a Cheeto up my ass. He goes, oh, did you eat it?
No, but she put it in my face.
She tried to put it in her mouth. He's like, Jesus, y'all. He's like, y'all's crazy. Thought you were drinking.
Oh, okay.
I'm going to drink a little bit off my bottle and then I'm going to go eat mine.
Okay. Yeah, you be a good girl.
So yeah, James is mad at me, Chris, because I won't break up with Fagler, because he wants me all to himself. And I'm like, you're fucking married. You still fucking your wife? He's like, Lacey, I haven't fucked my wife. In like 4 months.
You haven't fucked your life? What?
I was like, well, that would explain why it took you 2 minutes. He was like, no, it took me 2 minutes because I haven't had sex and you were tight as fuck. Like, I had trouble getting in you. I was like, that's that double set kickle muscles, baby. That's what makes them all fucking come back.
Yeah, but you hadn't fucked Daryl. It's been years. So maybe, does he remember?
I was talking about James. I'm not fucking Daryl. Daryl done fucked up, dude.
Yep. And then he tried to blame it on the hot one.
Well, I mean, she could be sending me things from before me and him. You know what I mean?
But that would put a lot of effort.
But this one right here, where he says that I was really wrong in so many different ways, and in anything stuff, if you think about it, she was the rebound for me.
Lovely to meet you.
He's like, I've known her 13 years. I care for her on the level of not wanting to be bad for her. Wanted to stay friends and married out so we could talk now. She came back and well, thanks for letting me do that, and you don't love her. And well, y'all still talk, but like just friends, not like about y'all, right? He came back was like, doubt we will still talk is what I was saying because she's trying to throw other guys in my face. But I don't care. Explain it, motherfucker. One, I am not a goddamn rebound from no motherfucking body. That's one word you call me a rebound, and I'm ready to fucking light your ass up. And I heard seen that shit, and I'm like, move.
He sought you out. You didn't seek him out.
No, what he was trying to do was get fucking money off of me instead of fucking addiction. And then he gonna get pissed off because I went straight from his ass to Fagler. But what he gotta understand is there was no physical connection between me and Daryl. There ain't no physical, there was physical connection between me and Fagler. But the point is,
yes, there is. Y'all already had sex.
Well, it was so fucking lazy.
What, sex?
But I was not feeling it.
Oh. It still counts.
I know.
I know.
That's so cute. I know.
But I'm talking about when me and him finally get up in the fucking bed and I'm able to fucking pop that pussy on his ass. I'm so ready. I mean, James was sex. I mean, James wasn't bad, it was sex. But like that one, I'm fathering me fucking sexy as fuck. It's like one of those ones where it's like, kind of nervous. He's like, what do you have to be nervous about? Because you're so fucking hot. And you got a sweet side. I'm not used to that. Like the other day I was sitting there, he was like, hey, he's like, I got a question for you. I was like, what? He's like, you want to see the most prettiest thing in the world? He's like, what is it? He's like, go look in the mirror. I was like, I am looking in the mirror, it ain't very pretty. He's all like,
you had to kill it. That's okay. I give him shit too. He's like, baby, have I told you you're beautiful today? I go, do you know that you're sexy? Did you know that I want you?
Danica,
huh?
We're over there like this.
You can't tell though, cause she's like,
See me now.
Fucker.
I'm like, he did that shit. He video chatted me. And it's like, hey, he's like, do your favor. He's like, are you in the bathroom? And I'm like, no. He's like, in the bathroom. So I'm just like, you know the prettiest thing in the world is? I was like, he's like, look at you! Like a little schoolgirl. He's like, I love it. He's like, I love it. He's like, it is not easy to get you to smile. Like, it's not hard to piss me off either. He's like, I'm not afraid of you, you're a Libra. Libras don't stay mad too long.
Yeah, because you just fucking right out of me.
I was like this. I'm like, I am not that type of Libra. But he's like, well, that's the thing, I'm a Scorpio. He's like, so if I piss you off, I'm just gonna fuck the attitude out of you.
God damn you. That's not where I wanted those drones to go. You stupid cunt. I gotta hop all the way back over here. Cause your ass is dumb.
I need to see if this bitch
No
is
fear.
pregnant.
Each time, all you have to do is set your token on the card you believe the dealer will turn over. Now, ladies, place your bets.
Case way the same for losing ever, I think.
The Duchess is a quick study. I'm sure she will have the measure of things in no time. All it takes is a little practice and perseverance.
I wish I lived back then so I could just like,
Thank you for switching like I
I
asked.
don't want to live like that, because then you'd have to have arranged marriages. Could you imagine your mom picking up your dude for you?
If he had money, I wouldn't give a shit.
Huh?
Damn. If he had money, I wouldn't give a shit.
Girl, the song
And you'd have to be a virgin.
Well, then I'm fucked. Put me in more.
Lacey is fired.
Well, I don't know. If you got 2 sets of lady balls, maybe you're technically still a virgin. I don't know.
Try to fake it to make it.
Mm-hmm. No, they actually call that. Like, some women actually go have surgery and have them removed. Because sex can hurt each time.
With their lady balls?
Yeah.
With the hymen.
No, the Kegel muscles.
Oh.
That sounds retarded. Why would you get rid of that?
Well, if I know, hey, it's...
I wonder how they tighten it, though.
What?
How you tighten the pussy?
Yeah.
He said he can't find that one on the marketplace there.
Well, he has to message the chick. Maybe he can't see it because he's not in my area. Because you got to remember, this is in my area. So maybe I screenshotted the person's name so he could like message him and ask him about the PS4. Is he drunk?
Probably.
Okay, that would explain it.
Look, you've been avoiding me.
Oh, no, you were being a jester.
If you're not avoiding my company, then you won't mind if I join you for a drink?
Fuck it, if he can't see it, I guess I can call the bar.
Oh, he love struck.
I should need a large glass of
The Earl would have my head if he knew how much money I've lost. The Earl is like 2 years old. Well, then I'm in luck, am I not? Seems I have been blessed with some beginner's luck. The game is not over yet, Your Grace. I wonder, Mrs. Langer. Kitty, please. You have won so much of my money, it is only right. Kitty, then. There is a soldier in service I'm hoping to find for a friend. Do you think your husband might be able to assist me? You will have to ask that of him yourself. He is so ready at home. I'm so sorry.
Save
Not a fool.
Save her.
It is
I'm
quite the
gonna
ideal
call her
situation.
tomorrow about it.
To live a separate life to one's husband. I am afforded all the freedoms of marriage, but I am...
Save her what?
Whatever you've seen it.
What? I didn't have a number. I just have a name.
Well, pull it up for me.
I deleted them.
God damn it, find it again.
Hold on. I sent it. It's in his my messages I sent to him.
Ah!
She was like, what?
What's it said? Ooh, I'm at health shield. Yes, so they're definitely shooting.
I didn't send, she didn't have a phone number.
How do I get a hold of her?
You gotta message them.
And I already
See,
broadcasted.
this one was for 175 and it was, her name is Keisha.
Well, send me that shit.
I know, I was just letting you know.
Send him a whole bunch. How do I forward it to you? Here, forward it to you. Yourself. Look at this buddy sleeping on his back.
I told you.
I'm not the burden of his company.
Will you message him and say we're working on your fucking shirt right now? Will you please just do that for me?
You got my phone. Pretend that you're me. Okay.
Yes.
Don't use no cussing, because I don't cuss. And he'll know it's not me.
She don't sext either, so don't start texting me.
I can't use my phone. Your phone. Perhaps the general will grant your response. It's not as if you were his wife.
Duchess, you win again.
Seeing how you entertain yourself, I rather think you the victor, Lady Danbury.
I rather think so too. Again.
It's a fine colour. And the bubbles? Don't get me wrong, I love a good brandy. But sometimes nothing will do but a beer. Would you just get to the point? I'm afraid I don't know what you're talking about. Yes, you do. You're correct, I do. Just like I know that you've obviously made a considerable error with my sister. How else did you infer that I was the one to make the error? Well, I know my sister quite well. And while she is an unusually capable woman, she's not capable of fucking up this severely.
Aw, you did good.
So perfect. It's exhausting just watching you. We may not be perfect, but at least we keep our promises. I know nothing of my commitments. I am trying to be a man of my word. I am trying to keep... I would not expect you to understand. What do you mean by that? I mean that you leave a litany of broken promises behind you everywhere you go. Your duty to protect Daphne from Nigel Burbrook? Or what about your own reckless
He
affair?
says that he's giving you shit.
No one knows about.
Yeah, he's giving me shit. I will be like, oh, I know. But I hear.
Daphne is my family.
Jackass!
No changing that. Though it is most unfortunate that I shall never quite reach the lofty ideal you have demonstrated. What is most unfortunate is the fact that your father was so absent. He never gave you a proper example of how to lead a household.
Daddy, what are you doing?
He's sleeping. He's comfortable.
Me too.
You certainly make it look difficult.
Come on, look at me one in the room, but I was like, run outside. What's wrong?
Your responsibility.
Lisa's like, I got him. I'm like, leave him alone.
Who said it? Jocelyn. Oh. Why? She tried to take my
She
baby.
was trying to like, oh, I know how to train him. And I was like, listen, this is my fucking dog. Not Josh's. Not the kids. Mine. Leave it the fuck alone.
Oh shit.
Josh ain't got no damn say so when it comes to him. Josh told her to leave the damn dog alone. He's fine. And then I woke up from a nap and he wasn't in the room. And I come out and I went, where's Bodie? He peeks out of Andrew's room. He's like, he woke up while you were sleeping, so I took him outside and brought him here so y'all could see. I was like, okay. As long as you got him.
Andrew likes him too.
Oh God, Andrew was trying to fucking.
Seems I became a little too rough training with Will.
That's her husband. And they be the one fucking.
Well, if that's her husband, you would think so.
He doesn't want no heirs.
So he got to stay on his pullout game.
So he's
that
been
don't ever work.
So he's been pulling out. Well, she got
That
on
don't
top.
ever work.
Well, they don't tell him back then how babies are made. You know, because it's all like hush hush or whatever. So anyway,
I
her
want
maid.
you to stop and think about what you just said, because honey, there's only one way you make a baby. It's called nut. And
They didn't talk about shit like that back then. Their mamas didn't talk. Well, anyway, so she found out from the maid how babies were made, and so she rode that fucking thing, and then he's like, "Wait, you need to get off. Stop!" And she's like, "Oh." She's like, "I'm getting that," and I'm like, "Oh, good God." It was funny.
Let me. With 4 brothers, you cannot imagine the nasty cuts I've tended to over the years.
So because she did that, I need to know if she's knocked up. My baby. Whisper. Oh! 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 What's gonna happen?
Why will you not unfold yourself to me?
Trust me.
The child will be a blessing. Tell me why you are so adamant.
Because I swore a long time ago that I would never sire a child.
I do not understand.
My father cared more about the continuation of the Hastings line than anything in the world. More than my mother. More than me. And so I made a vow that his efforts would be in vain. That the line would die with me.
So this is all because of a vow. You made a vow to me too. Or has our wedding day slipped your mind?
I told you.
You told me that you could not have children. You did not tell me it was some token of revenge against a man who no longer walks this
I
earth.
swore to him on his deathbed.
And you betrayed me in our marriage bed. Let me be certain I understand. You will neither have children, nor the happiness we could have together because you promised your father you would not. Say it. Say it.
It cannot be undone.
And I thank you for your elucidation, Your Grace. If your hatred for your father outweighs any affection that you might bear towards me, then you are right. It cannot be undone. My courses are due within the next few days. You will know then which vow you have broken and how we are to spend the rest of our lives. Miserable, together, perfectly happy apart.
Dearest reader, a question. Is anything more exhilarating than taking a gamble? For it is often the highest risk that carries the greatest
For Netflix, they were showing titties and he was eating her.
Netflix is fucking porn.
And they were showing like him eating her out, and I'm like,
Yet, wager wrongly, and
go
you might
ahead,
find yourself
Netflix.
left with
Show
nothing but
me.
regret.
It's that soft porn shit.
Ensure it is delivered to this address. Yes, Your Grace.
Of course, one can never know for sure whether a wager will make a fortune or ruin it, unless one chooses a more secure pursuit.
And she's pregnant with a
But
child.
as the season continues,
And they were trying to marry her
biggest
off, but
gamblers have yet to truly show their hand, which leaves gossip in short supply in recent days. In fact, this author can think of no other event that merits a mention.
No other event. But my luncheon. At least she did not say anything odious.
It is far worse. She wrote nothing. It is worthy of note, however, that the Duke and Duchess of Hastings have yet to entertain callers together. Our newlyweds are no doubt still secluded in nuptial bliss.
I'm like, get your fucking Mexican ass over here and fucking give me a goddamn baby, you son of a bitch.
If their diligent efforts are rewarded with a new arrival within the year.
In the past, every wizard on Revelation appeared to be plucked from a public event where any number of items could have borne witness. But the comics in Revelation was different. She was
Alright.
personal.
You want to see some sexy sex?
No, I can just watch this. I'm sure it's gonna get to it.
No. Probably not.
Of course not. Every servant in our household.
Bitch, you need a different color because that does not look good on you.
What, that pink?
But perhaps a tradesperson. Someone who visited your household regularly might have seen or overheard something.
It is a possibility.
In that case, we must reconsider our methods of inquiry to this end. Oh, this is wonderful. I must tell the Queen of our new theory.
Then tell her it's tonight's concert. I know you are not yet out, but I'm sure your mamma would still allow you to attend.
Once we unmask, whistle down.
Yes, the federation honor will be restored.
We must return home.
I should take back so no one will see me. An L. Thank you.
I wrote to General Langham.
Hold
I
on.
told him all about Sir
Hold
George.
on.
If
Right, I'm
he is
in the mood to argue
You
right
wrote to
now.
the general.
Yes.
And did the Duke sign his name as well?
Not with that.
On this letter.
Well, no. But
Marina, what is it?
The general will not concern himself to write back to you, Your Grace.
You do not know that. He won't pay attention to the words of a duchess. He must.
He's so unworldly. I'm sorry, your help is greatly appreciated, but there is nothing more you can do.
Marina.
It is over. I have already accepted the fact. Thank you for your efforts.
Missing the concert? Indeed. Not exactly in the mood for music and finery this evening.
I want to apologise.
Are there locusts in the street? Blood in the Thames? Are the end of days upon us already? It may have been a trifle harsh with you.
And I'm sorry.
You merely wish to protect me from my more foolish impulses.
As you admitted now, you were acting fool.
As apologies go, this is certainly not
Hush, you. You may hurt now, but pain will pass. You have the love of all your family and the honour of your actions. Soon you will forget Miss Thompson's name and it'll be as if you never loved her at all.
And how have these precepts served you? Aside from being the most dismal, most troubling ones I've heard in quite some time.
It's a work in progress, to be sure.
I suppose I was surprised to hear you wish to join us this evening. I suppose I must be grateful for your restraint in not using any feathers. You look lovely. Eloise. Taking your place in society should be an exciting time in a young woman's life. If you are not truly ready, I shall not ask you to play pretend. Perhaps I have been rushing you. We need not hasten your coming out before you feel prepared. The Queen will be in attendance at tonight's concert, will she not? I believe she will. Then I am looking forward to it. An exciting time indeed, Mamma.
Are you ready?
I am.
It's your grandfather. Bridgerton. Excuse us. I would simply like to understand your situation. I'd just like to understand. Is it simple? I'm in love with Lord Weatherby. You're married, and our marriage affords my wife her freedoms and protections. It is a happier union than most of the people in this room have, I assure you. And what is the advantage for the young ladies Lord Weatherby is courting? Or do they also share this understanding? What about honour? Romance? What would you know either? We live on a constant threat of danger, Bridgerton. I risk my life every day for love. You have no idea what it is like to be in a room with someone you cannot live without, and yet still feel as though you are oceans apart. Stealing your glances, disguising your touches, we can't so much as smile at each other, without first ensuring no one else is watching. It takes courage to live outside the traditional expectations of society. You talk of doing the same, but perhaps it is merely just that. All talk.
Oh, here we go! Here we go! Here we go! Here we go! Y'all ready? Y'all ready for the shit? Hello? Okay. Overthinking? How am I overthinking it? Okay, that's fine, but that does not explain you calling me a rebound. You telling me her about me 13 years ago. That ain't right, Daryl. Well, you never told me about her. Why didn't you say something to me? You don't think it's important that somebody you dated an ex? I'm not yelling. I am not yelling at you. I just talk loudly. Well, stop being stupid. Stop drinking. Stop getting fucked up. Like I said, if you need to go to rehab, you need to go to rehab because you obviously need help. If you're that bad...
God damn it, this is so aggravating.
I'm in the jail for 24 hours. I know exactly what it's like. Well, well, where are you staying at right now? Are you even supposed to be there? You need to figure something out. Because I don't know the full story. All I know is what I seen. And I seen the rebound. I don't care. I don't care. The point is you should have told me, oh, my ex is over here getting pills for my grandma. You should have enough respect for me. No, I was I wasn't. The one thing, I get the other shit, okay? I can forgive the other shit. But the one thing I cannot forgive is you sitting there, that shit was recent, Daryl. And I don't care what you say, a drunk mouth is a truthful mouth. Because I'm sorry, when I get drunk and I start talking bullshit, no, don't interrupt me, let me talk. I got every right. Well, you should have been talking to your ex about me anyway.
Jen, the battleship got away. I was really wanting to kill that guy.
You calling me a rebound pretty bad. Well, guess what? Where's your screenshot? Where's yours? You show me. Well, I'm just saying, the dates that she gave me, they line up, Daryl. They line up perfectly. About when you pulled your bullshit and broke up with me. No, in the midst of all of it, I got fucking sick. Well, hell, you had outlets. You had outlets when we were together. You did. No, everybody said I didn't have an outlet, because that's what everybody thought. I gave you one. Are you fucking serious? Yes, you can. That's what you get for faking. You been drinking? Yeah. That's all I did. No, you got an addiction problem is what you got, and I'm going to be the one to tell you that. Well, that's how y'all all are when y'all get out. Oh, y'all want to tell the truth. Well, this is the time just to stop. Fucking don't pick up.
I know, I'm still waiting.
Go check yourself into a damn facility. Like I told you, I will still be your friend, but it's... I'm not being negative. I'm telling you what to do to help you. Well, it's not that you're far gone, it's the drugs.
I'm not doing this shit.
No, your ass is addicted to damn
Fuck
Xanax
that.
is what it is.
I'm
You
not
can
doing
sit
that.
here and tell me you can't get addicted. Well, then you need to go to what they call NA. Yes, it will. You need to go to meetings. Why won't you listen to me? Well, you can only get mental health if you get your out. Bullshit, I don't understand. I'm a damn alcoholic, Daryl. I just control mine better.
So you see, Majesty is clear as day. Lady Whistledown is someone who works closely with the members of the Charm, yet she is not a member herself.
I told you when we were taking baby steps. Told you that when we were dating. Baby steps. No, you can't just expect to fix everything at once. Stop. Listen to me. I have sat there and I have taught people through their fucking problems like worse than you. No, well, that's not going to happen. That's not the real world. I hate to tell you that. No, it's not. You got to get out of that mindset. You pull yourself out of it. I had a damn gun in my head. I tried to slit my wrist. I tried to kill myself by basically drinking a whole half a gallon of damn. Well, guess what? You got to find that damn strength. It's there. It's there. Well, let me tell you something. It doesn't matter what you do. You can go to AA, NA, rehab. If you do not want to get better, you're not going to. You've got to find it inside you before anybody else can help you. You gotta find it. Go to church if you have to. Damn. Go find it in Jesus. You're not. That's not. Well, here, praying's only going to take you so far. Because let me tell you something, that's one thing God gave us. It's called free will. Well, maybe you need to talk to yourself. I talk to myself all the time. I sit there and have full-blown arguments in my head. Yes, there is. There is always a way out. You just got to find it. And let me tell you something. Drinking and drugs is not the way. What? gonna fall, honey. Let me tell you something. You know how many times I fall and I fell on my ass, but I got right back up?
Literally.
One thing that I always found too, laugh at yourself. Laugh at yourself. Be like, I did that? Oh, I'm a dumbass. Woo! We all do stupid shit. Doesn't define who you are. No, it doesn't. No, it does not. Honey, I got 5 kids by 5 different men. No. Let me explain this to you. I'm not yelling. You see, you think I'm yelling. I'm not yelling at you. If I was yelling at you, I'd be yelling at you. I ain't cussing. Yeah, you did. You hit your mama. Because if you hit your mama, you'll hit anybody there. Because you are fucked up.
My theory, it is not necessary. I've hired a team of Old Street runners to do a proper investigation. They will unmask Whistledown, and she should be made to pay for her impertinence. Obnoxious.
I'll tell you what, this is what I want you to do.
Finally cease
You
to
ate?
exist. You want to silence her?
Have you ate?
There's still good. She must
Go
deal.
eat.
Child, go.
Drink you some water. And go to sleep.
How long was this concert?
3 hours? Oh, 4. Though I certainly have already heard enough.
And then I will talk to you tomorrow.
Favorite
You need to go get something. No, you need to go get. No, you need to go eat a burger or something. You need to go eat. No. You're too tired, and I will talk to you about all this tomorrow when you have a little bit more of a clear head. Because I will talk you through it. I've talked people through it, but I may say things that you don't want to hear. I hate your damn service. The goats. It's not my service. My service is fine.
I would like to make a stop and pick up a
I
friend.
got 2 bars.
Should I not have a friend?
Go get you something to eat. Get your belly full. Go take, for God's sake, you're probably going to take your damn hot shower. You probably need that. And go to bed.
Why are we at no peace? What was so difficult?
Stop worrying about fixing it. You're not going to fix it overnight. You need to concentrate. No, you will fix it. You just not going to do it overnight. It's not going to happen. It ain't going to happen tonight. It could be years before you fix it, Daryl. But you got to understand that's just the way life goes, honey.
How was your birth, my Shannon?
Yes. Everything I expected. Horrible.
Go get you something to eat. You need to. I will be up for a little bit. You text me. You can talk. I can talk.
The entire time of that, and I did not have a single worthwhile exchange.
Well, I'm just saying, you need to go get your shower, get you something to eat, get yourself cleaned up. That's the first thing is getting your mind right and eat. Getting healthy. Get your body healthy.
You're not allowed to set them in high position, right?
I know it's not something right. And
so perhaps a trace past. I certainly never knew to post them or what as good as goes for them.
Is everything well?
I thought you can't. I can't help somebody who just thinks that he can fucking, you know what I mean? I'm talking through shit. But I ain't gonna sit here. Because I know what he wants. We ain't getting it.
He wants a puss.
No, he wants to get back together is what he wants. Because he knows what's coming. But now he wants to move there and end it with what's his name?